Chapter 881. A thick beam of light burst out from Yi Tianyun's fist, and instantly slammed General Long out. Numerous black crystal fragments were scattered on the ground, leaving only a thick beam of light running through the world. It was just a moment, and there was an immediate reversal. This is the power to upgrade. The cultivation base just made a breakthrough. These are all the credit of allies. They all bravely killed the enemy, plus 377 times the experience superimposed, let him successfully break through to the king stage. 3 floors. He insisted, just waiting for this moment. As long as the cultivation base rises to a level, then he has absolute hope. Originally, he knew that he was difficult to deal with General Longte, so he gave priority to the Holy King stage evil spirits. Who knew that General Longte was so domineering and quickly intercepted him, making it impossible to upgrade easily. Otherwise, he would have been upgraded long ago, let alone 1 level, 2 levels are more than enough. There is no problem with so many evil spirit races of the Holy King stage level, it is estimated that they can be upgraded to the 3rd level even after killing all. But there is no problem now. It's just that I ate a bit when I came, and swung a fierce punch, smashing General Long to vomit blood, and the hard crystals on his body were still covered. Boom. This crystal is hard enough, but it is limited to the situation where the difference in cultivation base is not big. Now his combat power is 1 level stronger than that of General Longte, so he can naturally relax. Can fight the enemy. After the light disappeared, General Long fell heavily from the air and hit the ground. The black crystals on his body shattered more than half, looking very miserable, and there was no good meat on his body. The body that originally looked sturdy quickly shrank, and suddenly shrank a lot, turning into a thin old man, lying on the ground shriveled. The appearance of this effect, of course, is not that Yi Tianyun's power is so strong, but that after knocking General Long into the air, he maintained his power thoroughly. Was broken up. Now the side effects of the outbreak appeared immediately, and the body shrank, not to mention a few years, even if it was given 1,000 years, it may not be able to return to its previous peak state. The cultivation base fell straight down. Yi Tianyun's probing eyes can accurately see that the data is coming, which means that it will directly fall to a large level and continue to fall. This kind of damage to the enemy by 1,800 by oneself has both advantages and disadvantages. Once you lose completely. Now, let alone running, General Longte can't even walk. His body shrank like an old man, and his sturdy appearance is gone forever. It will be difficult to recover without 1,000 years of recovery. This still needs to be supplemented by various elixirs to recover within these hours. If there were not such strong side effects, General Longte would have exploded his arm in one go instead of breaking out a little bit. The same is true for the cultivator's burning essence and blood. If it is burned all at once, it will take a long time to recover even if it is not dead. When the time comes, the lifespan will be approaching, and the cultivation base may not recover either. Yi Tianyun exhaled, flew towards General Longte, looked at him coldly and said, "You lose. You, how could you still hide your strength?" General Long wanted to sit up, but he couldn't sit up. His exhaustion was too serious. It was basically a deficit situation. Where can I move? A trash to be slaughtered. Hidden strength. No, I am not hiding strength, I just broke through. Yi Tianyun smiled. Indifferently. You lost this battle. I'm sorry you failed again. Up. Breakthrough. General Longte's eyes are full of inconceivability. Even if he breaks through, he still has the cultivation base of the king, how can he easily crush himself? Soon he still showed that contemptuous smile. Even if we lose what's more, once ancestral land finds that I have lost, it will send stronger combat power to suppress you. Next time, it's your real time to die. This time the dispatched General Longte is dead, so next time there is no doubt that it will dispatch even more terrifying combat power. Compared to it is possible that General Longte will be able to reach several levels. Why did you choose to occupy the 3 realms? There is so much difference here compared to yours, why insist on doing so? Yi Tianyun looked at him coldly and sent people to capture him again and again. This was something that made him feel incredible. Through this battle, he knew both the difference is too great, and they are not at the same level. Their 3 realms do not have so many resources, and they have cultivated so many powers of the Holy King stage. Haha. Since you want to, if you know, I will tell you. We just want to take your core, it's that simple. The core here is quite different. It is obviously a small star field, but it is comparable to the core of a large star field. General Longte showed longing gaze, as if looking at a treasure. Yi Tianyun didn't quite understand what it meant, but he just needed to know the three realms is a treasure, and it is also a very exciting treasure. In order to obtain this core, you will not hesitate to let the creatures be charred. Yi Tianyun stared at him and said. But after finishing speaking, he was relieved immediately, because many cultivators are not like this. In order to seize a treasure, they cut it lightly. Kill the holders, the heavy ones kill the whole family. Ha ha ha, are you a fool? This is the reason why the weak eat the strong. You are too weak and possess such a treasure. If you don't destroy you, who else can you destroy? General Longte laughed in his throat, and there was no despair in his eyes. He knew that even if he died, Yu reading www.ukanhu.co would still be killed. It's just that he is dead, unable to complete the task. Don't worry, you don't need to come personally, I will kill it. Yi Tianyun said with cold eyes. Your strength? Not worth mentioning. General Longte smiled brightly, but he didn't think Yi Tianyun could beat their ancestral land. Well, to me, your ancestral land is also not worth mentioning. I almost forgot to tell you one thing. I cultivated to this cultivation level and it took only 20 years. Time, give me a few more decades, what level do you think it will be? Under the horrified gaze of the other party, Yi Tianyun grabbed General Long's head and started to proceed. Crazy soul search. He wanted to know more information, to see what was going on in the ancestral land and what was going on in the outside world. However, when searching for the soul, General Longte's body became unstable and was about to explode vaguely. Damn it! Yi Tianyun threw General Longte's body abruptly and exploded in front of him. Turn into a pile of powder. Since there is no energy left in the body, it will naturally not have any big effect when it explodes. Chapter 882 God of the Three Realms, Ding, successfully killed General Longte, gained 18,800 billion points of experience, 20 million points of madness, and 1 million points of evil. Get the blood of evil spirits, soul of evil spirits, evil bone of the spirit. Ghast sword, high-grade artifact, ghast armor, top-grade artifact, ghast boots, top-grade artifact, 100 times experience card. Ding, get 100 billion experience points as a leapfrog kill reward, 5 million points of madness, 5 million points of proficiency, and 2 additional super enhanced draws. Ding, congratulations to the player, Yi Tianyun, for successfully breaking through the 5th level cultivation base of the King of Gods. Ding, congratulations to the player, Yi Tianyun, successfully breaking through the 6th of Kings of God level cultivation base. The continuous bounce 2-level cultivation base is as simple as drinking water. These are all explosive experiences that can only occur based on the premise of 377 times the experience. Almost 2 trillion experience, unprecedented horror. This is the experience of the higher cultivation base. The higher the level, the more terrifying the exploded experience. Other data is also terrible, and the experience brought by high levels is really a lot. However, this can only be upgraded by 2 levels, which can only be regarded as average. He now needs a lot of experience in his cultivation base to upgrade, and after 2 consecutive upgrades, the next level needs more experience. These things cannot be let go. Yi Tianyun quickly collected the things that were dropped by General Longte after the explosion. There are many good things inside. I just don't know if there is any information about their ancestral land or other information. However, after some inspections, there was basically nothing inside, just a pile of pills, and some materials and weapons. There is no information about the rest of the ancestral land. Of course, this is not necessary, as long as you leave a soldier of the Spirit King stage, you can still question it. With the beheading of General Longte, all the evil spirit races in the 3 realms were dumbfounded. They obviously felt that their generals were gone, so they were killed. The general is dead. The evil spirits are all confused. The invincible general just died under the hands of the lowly human. They are dumbfounded. It does not mean that the cultivators are dumbfounded. The Alliance cultivator was excited in his heart, and continued to fight the enemy courageously. On the contrary, he was even more brave than before. We won. This is the biggest idea, the strongest are dead, so the rest is not enough for fear. Morale skyrocketed instantly, and the strength to kill the enemy increased a bit. Similarly, the evil spirit race resisted, and the confidence was not enough, morale dropped rapidly, and even half of the usual strength could not be exerted. This is the result of the death of the leader. The generals are dead, so what role can they play? Tianyun has won. Xuanhuan is also very excited here, each of them pale, and they are very resistant hard. But there are corpses everywhere, with enemies and their own. After seeing Tianyun's victory, tears filled her eyes. This time they finally made it through. Give me full. Tianyun flew up, replaced the growth necklace on his body, and began to heal his body quickly. At the same time tens of thousands of sacred artifacts were floating in the air, and under his control, they pushed across the mortal world, killing those evil spirit races under the sword. The experience quickly goes up, but the time for the experience card will soon come. Tianyun was not stingy, and continued to buy a set of experience cards and the like, and continued to slaughter. There are so many powerful saint kings who can also have a lot of experience after killing them, and they must not be wasted. The next situation is a unilateral massacre. With Tianyun joining the battle, everything is much easier. It was easy to beheaded, and the god king who was fighting with the dragon king outside was easily killed, no different from mowing the grass. It was just the mysterious old man in the underworld. He was seriously injured and dying. It just so happened that he was about to die. When he learned of victory, he died smiling. His task has been completed, he died without regret. Soon all the evil spirits in the three realms were beheaded by Tianyun. After the last evil spirit race was killed, a sweet voice sounded again. Ding! Congratulations to the player, Tianyun, for successfully breaking through the 8th level cultivation base of the God King period. He broke through to God after the 8th level of the royal stage, after killing all the evil spirits with the cultivation base of the holy royal stage and the spiritual royal stage, he jumped twice again. This is the effect of high-powered experience. You must know that there are more than 400 holy royal stage cultivators sent, and after all of them are killed, they will have trillions of experience. In addition to those who are strong in the Spirit King period, and those who are strong in the God King period, they can only be combined to get him to 3 levels. In theory, it is rare. It can only be said that the experience required for upgrading is too much. It's finally over. After Tianyun killed the last evil spirit race, everything was over. Last fight, finally succeeded. Successfully resisted these evil spirit races and won this time victory. Each cultivator hugged each other and wept bitterly. They cried with joy, and most of them were sad. Because too many people died this time, everyone was very sad. If Tianyun hadn't prepared in advance, more people would have died. In theory, the death toll this time is considerable, not particularly large. It is not in vain to prepare so long in advance. It's just that the opponent is too strong, even if prepared, some people will inevitably die. No matter what, everything is over. Tianyun returned to the mortal realm. The mortal realm was also dead. Many familiar faces before, some are missing, but most of them are still there. After all, in the ordinary realm, Tianyun's selfishness has moved a little bit, which is stronger than the other two realms. However, some cultivators will inevitably die, but everything is within the acceptable range. We succeeded. Tianyun came over. Here they are all healing. Seeing him come back at that time, one by one stood up excitedly, wanting to welcome the return of the king. You don't have to move, continue to heal. Tianyun walked up to Xuanhuan and hugged him. She buried her head on her neck and said in a deep voice, "We won, we won." Xuanhuan hugged tightly, his eyes were blurred by tears. She was dressed in white, and she didn't know how much blood was stained, and she couldn't tell which belonged to her and which belonged to others. All the wars, reading www.u.om ended today. After the end, the three realms entered a state of rest. Soon all the forces in the three realms believed that Tianyun was the patron saint of the three realms and felt that he was competent for the important task of ruling the three realms. All of them were willing to obey his orders. If Tianyun were not running around this time, their deaths and injuries would have been even more serious. So they are absolutely convinced, no one dares to disobey. Ding. Successfully complete the ultimate mission of the three realms, defend the invaders from outsiders, destroy each other, and complete the real unification of the three realms. The reward is 200 billion points of experience, and the crazy value is 10,000 points, 10 million points of sin, and 10 million points of proficiency. And the three titles are merged to become a new title, God of the Three Realms. Under the circumstances, Tianyun became the true leader of the three realms, and at the same time completed this ultimate task and received a lot of rewards. God of the Three Realms. Staying anywhere in the three realms will increase damage by 20 times, command value by 200,000, defense power by 20 times, and healing speed by 20 times, the speed increased 20 times. The title of Absolute Guard against the sky, but only in the three realms. Chapter 883 Inches the God of the Three Realms. Looking at this title, Tianyun felt inwardly for a while. If he had won this title before, it would definitely be against the sky. General Longte can easily be blown by himself without any effort. After this battle, the three realms returned to peace, living and practicing as before. But everyone remembers this battle. It was a very dark moment, and almost everyone participated in the battle. Those who have a low level of repair are used as logistics, constantly helping to heal injuries, so basically no one is idle during that time. However, everything was resolved in a short time after Tianyun won. In terms of normal battles, it is possible not to fight for a few days, nights, or even weeks. It's just that under Tianyun's 10,000 swords, everything is so simple. It is easy to harvest all the evil spirits and complete the support of the three realms. If it were not for him, the loss of the three realms would definitely spread to the maximum. Among them, the greatest losses in the heavens are those who choose not to join the kingdom of God, and they are basically flattened. Those who stayed from the kingdom of God hated the Lord to the extreme. Even if they were dead, they could not wait to step on their corpses. After all, there were losses on the League's side, but it was definitely not up to this terrible situation, and most of them survived. Most of those who are not aligned do not survive. This is the gap. After this incident, Tianyun's prestige reached its zenith, and he was definitely the god of the three realms. At the same time, in a huge star field in the vast outer area, there are countless evil spirit races here, all distributed among the major planets here. In one of the largest planets, there are many evil spirits in the hall. Among them, sitting on the throne in the center of the hall, the evil spirits just leaned on their seats at will, very calm. His expression did not show any majesty, but everyone below was shaking, lest he angered the king in front of him. Big Lord, there is a message from below that the attack on the small star field has failed. One of the strong men stepped forward and reported. Huh. The king sitting on the throne looked at him and said calmly, "Isn't this for you to do? It seems that it has been a long time, I forgot." Yes. We attacked 3 times in total and we have failed. We guess that the small star field already belongs to a big power's territory, otherwise it would be impossible to capture it. We will make arrangements soon and continue to send more powerful people over to take over the star field. We will definitely win this time. It was our negligence before, which led to the waste of so much time. The minister knelt down and hurriedly recovered. It was obvious that the king in front of him did not show the slightest expression of anger. His back was already dripping with cold sweat, and his body was shaking. The calmer he is, the more terrifying he is, and it is even possible to slap him. Have you not investigated it before? The Wang said lightly. Yes, I have investigated and found that it does not belong to any forces. It is possible that it has just been taken over recently, so we don't know. The minister hurriedly said, but we will continue to investigate. After the investigation is clear, we will send someone to eradicate it. Well, I will give you one last chance. If you can't, you will know the result. The king aloft, looking down calmly. Yes, this time it will definitely be done well, and there will never be any mistakes. The minister said hurriedly. He got up and took care of it immediately after he finished speaking. There must be no mistakes in this matter. If there is any mistake, the result will be a dead end. This has already given him a 4th chance, and if he still fails, he really has to come to see him. After the minister has left, continue to discuss the next thing. After the discussion here, Tianyun has begun to hold the most massive wedding. The place where the wedding is held is the Tianyun imperial capital of the ordinary world. All the powerhouses of the 3 realms came to congratulate them one after another, and every powerhouse offered their treasures at the bottom of the box. This is the wedding of the gods of the 3 realms. Since the restrictions have been lifted, the 3 realms can already travel at will. With Tianyun's current strength, it is not difficult at all to lift the restrictions. All the previous restrictions were lifted, and the passageway moved around at will. Tianyun, this is to make everyone behave a little better and support each other. Anyway, it has been unified, so many things are well arranged, and there is no need to worry about the mortal world becoming a battlefield or something. With him in charge, who would dare to mess around? On this day, the Tianyun Empire celebrated the whole country. Among them, the Tianyun Emperor capital was very beautifully decorated. Many phoenixes or dragons descended on the side, making the dragon and phoenix auspicious. Effect. When the new couple set foot on the specially built altar, everyone was boiling. One is the emperor and the other is the queen. Tianyun is the emperor and Xuanhuan is the empress. Many women below are envious, they all want to become empresses, but they don't have the qualifications. The same goes for Yue and the others. They both want to marry Tianyun, but they all know that Tianyun only loves Xuanhuan, and no one can enter his heart. They can only be regarded as confidants, not wives. Although it is a pity, they do not regret it and are willing to serve Tianyun for life and do things for him. On that altar, Tianyun took Xuanhuan's little hand and smiled lightly. I said, let the three realms be your dowry, have you done it now? Xuanhuan took his big warm hand tightly, leaned gently in his arms, looked at the many powerful under the altar, and smiled slightly, calmly. Life is good, it doesn't have to be so grand. I understand, you reading WW. Ukanyu. But sometimes you should have that part of your own. Tianyun raised his head to look at the sky and waved his hand lightly. The sky immediately appeared colorful clouds, waving on the sky, and immediately 5 colored lights shrouded them and shone on them. Under this situation, everyone suddenly cheered, which means it has officially begun. Immediately he took up Xuanhuan's little hand and smiled lightly. Xuanhuan, will you marry me? I'm willing to. Xuanhuan nodded. Tears already wet her eyes, these were tears of happiness. Then I, Tianyun, hereby announce that I will be married to Xuanhuan. Did not say it was too gorgeous, the words, not to mention too much exaggeration, were simply announced. Xuanhuan's tears came out immediately, there was no confession, it was more beautiful than this sentence. Under the witness of all the people in the 3 realms, they became husbands and wives and were blessed by all the people in the 3 realms. This is apart from them, no one can have such a privilege. This is an honor that can only be possessed by the god of the 3 realms, and all the strong in the 3 realms will come to bless. Chapter 884. The vast wedding was over, and the 3 realms were full of joy, and it took 3 days and 3 nights to stop the carnival. For 3 days and 3 nights, for the practitioners, there is no time to talk about it. However, it is enough to make them very happy. Witness the combination of a pair of monks, especially the women who choose the gods of the 3 realms, let them know who it is. After the end, Tianyun began to continue to operate, and all the big arrays were arranged, and most of them were reinvigorated. As for other things, you don't need him to arrange it. It is enough to have Xuanhuan staying here. In the starry sky outside the 3 realms, Tianyun also arranged a lot of large arrays. In general, they all arranged some magic arrays, and some reminded the big array. However, he did not know if it was useful. After all, he planned to leave here and go to the outside world to have a look. After this war, he felt that he still had a lot of deficiencies, and the outside world was too big and too strong. He knows that the overall strength of the evil spirits is very strong. He grabbed one of the evil spirits and came over, and after the charm, he put a lot of words from his mouth. Since the permissions are not enough, there is not much information to know, but the general thing is already known. The end result is that the evil spirits are strong and powerful enough to be incredible. How is a strong law? This time is only a captain level, said to be a general. In fact, according to this side, it is similar to a deacon. A deacon, an ordinary deacon. A deacon is so powerful. If you send a stronger one, then they must be sure. The next attack is absolutely ready. If he is not enough, the result is a dead end. It is difficult to continue to upgrade here, even if all the resources of the 3 realms are useless to him, he now needs too much experience. To say that cruelty, even if all the practitioners in the 3 realms gave him crazy slaughter, I am afraid that I can't rise to 1 or 2 levels. He needs too much experience now, and it is impossible to kill the practitioners of the 3 realms, so he must leave here and go to a broader world. If you get to know more powerful people outside, then the help for him is great, and it is even more likely to deal with evil spirits together. Almost. After setting up these large arrays, Tianyun returned to the realm of the world and held the largest meeting. Let all the kings come, and all the kings of the 3 circles must gather to come to the meeting. After the information was released, they quickly rushed over and didn't know what to announce. After everyone arrived, Tianyun sat down and swept his eyes and said, I am going to leave the 3 realms and go to the outside world. What? The hearts of the people were shocked, but the poems on the side of the poems were calm and seemed to have been expected. This matter Yi Tianyun never said to anyone, including Shi Shuiyan, who was his wife, did not say a few words. Lord, you can't go. If you are gone, what do we do here? Yeah, isn't this the leader of the dragon? We are all based on you. One is not willing to let Yi Tianyun go. Yi Tianyun is their patron saint. If there is no him, then there are evil spirits attacked. What should I do? I think you are more worried, or I will be like the three gods before, and I will never return. Yi Tianyun said what they really worried about. They are all heads of state. No one is better at managing the country than they are. What they are worried about is that Yi Tianyun is gone forever. Without a powerful king, how can they not worry? The three great kings have never returned, and this has already made people desperate. If it wasn't for Yi Tianyun, the three realms would have finished. They can imagine that the evil spirits will come back again, and when they don't have Yi Tianyun, how can they survive? Now that they have broken their minds, many of them are stunned. They are indeed such thoughts. Don't worry, for the time being they won't come so fast. It's not advisable to rely on me alone. You have to work hard to cultivate and make yourself stronger. This will make the three realms solid. Yi Tianyun looked at them. Shen said, but you don't have to worry, if there is danger here, I will get back quickly. This is what everyone will listen to. How long does it take to get back? Who knows? Others can't quickly come over. Yi Tianyun can quickly come back. He has the treasure of heaven to send the **** stone. As long as you use this stuff anywhere, you can send it back right away. This is the reason why he doesn't worry. No matter where you go or if you are trapped, a transmission stone can be sent back. Of course, whether or not he will ignore all the rules, he can't make a conclusion. If he can't tell the outside area, he can't restrict him from sending it back. Everyone was silent, but they could see that Yi Tianyun's mind had been decided and there was no way to change it. The things in the three realms will be handed over to you. I believe that you will definitely protect the three realms and will not be invaded by foreign enemies. Yi Tianyun looked at them and shouted. Followed by the general situation, the basic is the meeting. Yi Tianyun let them come, nothing more than to explain this situation, plus the announcement of Shi Shuiyan as the manager of the realm, everything is based on her words. After they left, Yi Tianyun and Shi Shuiyan were left in the hall, and the rest were very acquainted. They all know that the real sadness is Shi Shuiyan. It's only been a long time since I became a pro, and Yi Tianyun is leaving here. How can I not be sad? Yi Tianyun stretched out and pulled her down to sit down. They didn't talk, so they hugged quietly here. After a while, Shi Shuiyan said, I will wait for you to come back. Stupid girl, I will come back at any time. Yi Tianyun squeezed her nose and smiled. Whenever you miss me, I will appear in front of you. Don't tease me, be sure to pay attention to low-key points outside. Although I don't know the situation outside, I know that it is dangerous outside. Tianyun, you must be safe, not only for me, but for children. Gently caressing your stomach, they already have children. Pregnancy is not difficult, especially the talent of both of them is not bad, combined with a high probability of pregnancy. Yi Tianyun reached out and touched her belly, smiling softly, I know. They didn't say too much, and after staying here for a while, Yi Tianyun set off to leave the star field. Before leaving, only Shi Shuiyan was seen off, and Yi Tianyun didn't want to let too many people go off. It was too much trouble. Must come back. Shi Shuiyan looked at the back of Yi Tianyun's departure, and the beauty was filled with tears. This was just leaving, but full of thoughts. Chapter 885 After Yi Tianyun left the planet, he entered the spirit ship floating outside. The inside was empty, and the corpse had already been cleared away. Not only was the corpse cleaned up, he also simply repaired the spirit ship. This repair is limited to superficial repairs. After all, his ability is not enough to repair all of it, so he can only choose to repair a small part. But this is enough, it doesn't need to be repaired, as long as it works. This spirit ship was able to operate originally, but the operator died, and no one else would activate it. Naturally, they had to choose to come out from the spirit ship and pounce on the three realms. This spirit ship is really powerful enough, no matter the material or the ability to build, it is far beyond recognition. Yi Tianyun came to this control room and controlled it. The room is very simple, just a very simple teleportation array. There are a total of 5 small arrays, which means that 5 people can control it. In addition, there is a huge array outside, which is obviously used to inject energy to drive the spirit ship to move. The previous Holy Royal Stage powerhouses were able to deliver energy here before they finally came out. Of course, there is no need for so many Saint King period powerhouses to drive at the same time. If this is really necessary, the consumption will be too much. Soon he stood in the control formation and began to fumble for a while. After a while, he finally found a way out for him. It turns out that, even if it is driven by one person, it is still okay, but the consumption is a bit more surprising. He immediately began to transfer energy into the control array, and follow the entire spirit ship. There was a hum sound, and the whole body released a dazzling light. After being almost filled, Tianyun controlled the spirit ship to fly forward. The spirit ship made a sound, followed the shocking sound and hurried out in front of it, and ran through the rock, smashing the rock into after the powder, continued to rush outside. This situation scared him a lot. No wonder 5 people are required to control it. It turns out that this thing is not easy to control at all. It needs precise control to start smoothly. If you are alone, you need strong control to control it. Is now not under his control at all, he hurriedly shot out in front of him, rushed out of these 3-star fields, and swept outside. He disappeared in this area in the blink of an eye. After he went out, the surrounding rocks filled in again, filling the gap. At this moment, Tianyun glanced behind him for the last time, and was greeted by countless rocks enveloping the 3 realms. From the outside, it looked like a pile of rubbish, even the inside of the 3 realms could not be seen. Obviously, the 3 realms are very safe. The problem is that the location here is already known. No matter how it is covered, it is of no use. If you want to prevent other forces from discovering here, there is only one solution, and that is to destroy the evil spirit race. I'll be back soon. Tianyun turned his head again, and was so scared that he was out of his mind. There was a huge stone in front of him. He hurriedly controlled the spirit ship to lean aside, and with a bang, the huge spirit ship shook. This huge rock was just knocked away. If the spirit ship hits this thing, there will definitely be nothing wrong, but after this collision, Tianyun estimated that he would be thrown away, so fortunately, in an emergency, he could escape this huge boulder. Hey, this thing is really difficult to control. Tianyun wiped out the cold sweat. Not only the difficulty is not small, the consumption of spiritual power is extremely fast. That's it. In a small meeting, there is no 1.5 of spiritual power. It's no wonder that so many Saint King stage powerhouses were drained. According to this consumption rate, he would be drained without too long. But he thought it was a good deal. The speed was too fast, more than dozens of times faster than his flying speed. Flying outside in the flesh is a bit more dangerous, and inside this spirit ship is not only fast, but also very safe. With Duo's control, he feels that the control is more proficient, and I have to say that he needs a lot of control. This requires a strong mental power, otherwise there is no way to control this stuff. It's no wonder that after he was pumped several times in a row, no one could control the spirit ship after killing the manipulator. It's really hard to learn for a while. If you accidentally drive into the black vortex, you will be dead. After being proficient, he can finally observe the surroundings all the way. There is basically no life around. From a distance, you can see many planets floating in the sky, some look bare, and some are covered with many plants. These seem to be very ordinary. I haven't seen any cultivators in it. The definition is basically similar to the rock. But even if there are cultivators living in them, General Longte has no interest. They came here to take the core. By arresting some evil spirit races and interrogating them, he generally knew a few more important things. First of all, the distance here is very long, even if the spirit ship flies to this side frantically. You read www.ukanshu.com takes more than 10 years. The premise is that you can really stop for a moment, and sometimes you still need to take a break, so it will generally take about 15 years to get here. 15 years is really meaningless for the Holy Royal Stage. The training meeting is here. Is that the evil spirit race is really powerful, he will not go straight to the ancestral land of the evil spirit race. It is no different from sending death immediately. Even if there are evil spirit puppets, they don't dare to play like this. One day they will be found out and they can escape, but this is not the result he needs. Anyway, it is to quickly improve the cultivation base, and then when they come to invade, come back to suppress them again, earn a wave of experience. It is that simple. Because he doesn't know who will be sent, the best way for him is to quickly upgrade his cultivation. After steadily holding the spirit ship, Tianyun took out the star disk of the gods, which was a rare item obtained by killing Satyr. At that time, he played with it and discovered that this thing is actually a starry sky map. General Longte also has an astrolabe on him, but it is not as comprehensive as this, and it is not at all a grade. After was opened, a huge map of galaxy appeared in front of you, and the three realms was in a very small corner. This is a known corner. As for the ancestral land of the evil spirit race, it is in the other corner. Among them, this astrolabe is divided into many areas, and these areas are collectively called God's domain. God's domain is divided into large and small, the closer to the center, the higher the level. Now he is flying at a rapid speed, flying directly to the nearest God's domain to him, first to understand this brand new world clearly. This is his current focus. Chapter 886. Only as a guard. Tianyun controlled the spirit ship to fly forward quickly. He never stopped along the way. If he didn't have enough spiritual power, he took the pill, just sprint forward as fast as reach God's domain quickly. He can't procrastinate at all. His time can be said to be sufficient, or it can be said to be insufficient, as fast as he can. It's almost here. Under the rapid flight, he spent a full month, and finally he was about to enter the realm of the gods. It was thanks to the speed of the spirit ship that it could fly so fast. If there is no spirit ship, unless his phoenix blood is upgraded to the top level, it will not be as fast as 1/10 of the speed of the spirit ship. If was flying at his fastest speed, it would take at least more than a year to fly, enough to see how far away. If these things come out in the Spirit King stage, most of them will die outside. There are many planets along the way, but those planets are so weak that even if they can treat people, they need to fly for more than 100 years before they can come here. This is still based on the premise that there is no danger to be able to reach the realm of God. It takes a lot of perseverance to fly alone outside for 100 years. It is estimated that it will be stupid. Tianyun looked at the map on the astrolabe. There were many light spots on it, among which he flew to the nearest place. It is recorded on the astrolabe that there is a nearest city here, and it is still a big city, which is considered the entrance city of God's domain. Outside of God's domain, there are also countless areas, but none of them will be transformed into God's domain, but collectively called mortal domain. When was about to arrive, he quickly flew out of the spirit ship, and then reached out and touched the spirit ship. Give it to me. Soon this spirit ship was collected. In this way the inventory only occupies one of the inventory. It can be said that it does not occupy any place. If you want to put away the spirit ship, unless you have an amazing storage ring, you really can't put it away. This spirit ship can't be made bigger or smaller, it takes up a lot of space just to put it away. Of course, General Long's storage ring can hold this spirit ship. But where can it be more secure than your own inventory? After flew out, he continued to fly forward. As he got closer and closer to the front, he gradually began to see practitioners flying forward. These cultivators are not limited to the human race, there are many other strange races, such as the rock race, which is covered with rocks all over, which looks very strange. The race is strange, but the human race is always the most, mainly in terms of reproductive ability. I have to say that the human race is definitely a top-notch existence. Even the gods of the royal stage. He just got closer now, and he saw that there are strong people of the gods, but it is not of human race, but other race of. As for the other races, the lowest is the spiritual king stage cultivation base, and you can see other small spirit ships flying forward with people. Can be said to be from all over the mortal world, flying here constantly, all heading to the realm of God. I don't know where the Xuanhuan kings and the others are now. Tianyun frowned. He didn't know what the situation of the three kings was. He hadn't come back for so long, and he might be trapped. Or is busy with something, temporarily unable to get out. After all, if you fly from here to the three realms, it will take at most a few years before you can go back. So they didn't come back, either they liked God's domain and were not willing to go back, or they were trapped. Tianyun believes that the latter is larger, and they are unlikely to ignore the three realms. Judging from their serious protection of the three realms, I believe they will never abandon the three realms. Really many cultivators, the cultivation level is not low, as expected, the three realms is a small world, and the real big world outside. Tianyun looked at the situation in front of him. I was excited. Then he flew to the front quickly, and when he was about to go in, a cultivator suddenly flew over. Hey, Brother, is this going to God's domain? The young man who flew over is not low in cultivation base, it is directly the cultivation base of the second floor of the Divine King period. This is really the cultivation base of Bad Street. If this cultivation base came to the three realms, wouldn't it be the king in hegemony? I think there is no other way besides going to God's domain, right? Yi Tianyun smiled lightly. There is no doubt that this guy flew here alone. Naturally, he had to find someone to go together. Multiple people are undoubtedly a better choice. Hey, under Lei Zhengyu, I wonder if I can go to God's domain together. Lei Zhengyu said embarrassedly. I flew for a long time before I came to this area. I have to say that God's domain is too far away. I almost got lost outside. That line, let's go together, I also flew for a long time before I got here. Yi Tianyun smiled. This Lei Zhengyu is its kind, without any arrogance. Immediately after Yi Tianyun introduced himself, the two began to get acquainted. They flew forward and talked with each other. Yi Tianyun learned that the area where Lei Zhengyu was located was also a remote village. His cultivation base was the strongest. He felt that he had reached the top level and it was difficult to break through, so he flew to God's domain. Is different in that the area where Lei Zhengyu is located is not that far away, and he is also very clear about the things of God's domain. After the cultivation base reaches the God King stage, or the Holy King stage cultivation base, you can leave there. Ukanhu.co chose to go to God's domain. Lei Zhengyu is there as the leader, but he has no arrogance, but looks very kind. This is not a pretense, obviously even as a leader, he is very kind. Here, it should be God's domain ahead, it looks so spectacular. Lei Zhengyu was thrilled. There was a huge passage in front of him, with many spirit ships, or the cultivator flew inside. Entering from here, you will officially enter God's domain. Is not that there are no entrances in other places, but this is one of the entrances. Because of the closest distance, Yi Tianyun must have entered from here. Yi Tianyun's eyes flickered. I don't know what exactly is in this God's domain. Immediately after the two of them flew forward quickly, when they entered the passage, the power around them began to change. Vaguely, Yi Tianyun felt that it was not spiritual power, but another kind of energy. But the probing eye can't see it, so he doesn't know what energy is here. After they passed through this passage, what they entered was not another star field, but a hall. Unexpectedly, they were all teleported to a hall instead of the outer star field. Just went in, and saw that there were many guards on the side, all standing on the side looking coldly at this side. Stand up here one by one, and resist the killing. These guards are all cultivated in the royal stage, and none of them are not. The cultivation base of the gods are all guards. Yi Tianyun's heart was shocked. Is this treatment a bit scary? In the mortal world outside, you can be the king, but here you can only be a good guard. Chapter 887 worked hard outside to reach the cultivation base of the God Royal stage, or the cultivation base of the Holy Royal stage. Here at best, it is just a guard, and it does not seem to be the leader, but a normal guard. This really made Yi Tianyun feel that he really fell from the peak to the starting point in an instant. However, the cultivators who come here have the lowest cultivation base to start at the Spirit King stage, and it is really impossible to come here easily if the cultivation base is lower than this. The cultivation base is only of the Spirit King stage, and they all come here on the spirit ship. If the body is too far away, it is difficult to come over. Star Jun level stand here, and those below the Star Jun level, let me stand there. At this time, a stronger cultivator will stop here, instructed them to separate teams. This person's cultivation base is even more domineering, and he feels that Yi Tianyun is at the same level as that of General Na Long. He seems to be a captain here. Ding! Congratulations to the player, Yi Tianyun, for entering the new world of God's domain. Successfully deducted 50 million points of madness for a comprehensive data upgrade. What? Yi Tianyun's heart trembled. He didn't know what was going on, so he was deducted 50 million points of madness. He still wanted to stay to upgrade the madness mode, and he didn't wait for him. React to. Ding! 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 Successfully upgraded the system. The revision of the name and the name of the who has been completely changed to conform to the rules of God's domain, and the major systems and combat power systems have been comprehensively changed. And upgrade the detecting eye data at the same time. Ding! 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 Successfully changed. Immediately a stream of information poured into his head and began to change the major data. After letting him know, his heart was shaken. First is the change in the cultivation base. The cultivation base is no longer the cultivation base of the God King stage. The God King stage is only called Hu at the mortal level. It is not called Hu at all here. Is roughly the Xingjun Zhu Liandijin Tianjin Shenzhen Tianzun Tianshan God Emperor. Each level still has 10 levels, but this point has not changed. Focuses on the creator's name. The same data change has occurred. It is no longer the top level name, but directly becomes the God Builder, the God Alchemist, and the God Pattern Master. The 3 levels correspond to the creator level, and they are divided into 9 levels at the same time, which is the 9th product. To put it bluntly, the creator is only a first-grade realm, and there will be higher levels going up. Data update for all aspects of. Now when he looked at the guards, both the cultivation base and the combat effectiveness had undergone tremendous changes. Ji Yanlong, the second Lian Dijin, wearing a low-grade artifact equipment, possesses martial arts to turn to the dragon. The overall combat power is 20,000 points. Lei Zhengyu, Xingjun's third-grade cultivation base, wearing a lower-grade artifact, and possessing martial arts, the overall combat power is 1,300 star power. He glanced at it, and the data was refreshed greatly. This so-called Xingjun was actually the cultivation base of the King of God. Where can it be called the cultivation base of the gods? It can only be regarded as a relatively normal cultivation base, an entry-level cultivation base. As for the combat power directly replaced with star power, a little star power is equal to 100 million. This star power is naturally the power of the stars of God's domain. Has not only changed the cultivation base, but also the martial arts. And weapon grades have begun to change drastically. Extends from the original heaven level martial arts to the samsara level. This is a stronger martial arts. Naturally there is still going on, but the data is too large, it is really difficult to react for a while. Ding, congratulations to the player, Yi Tianyun, for getting the God's Domain starter pack. After deducting 50 million points of madness, there is no change except for the updated data. He felt a bit painful just now, and now he is giving an extra Divine Realm introductory package, which looks pretty good. Soon he opened the gift package without hesitation, and a pleasant voice sounded. Successfully opened the God's Domain entry-level gift pack, obtained the primary God's Domain lottery roulette, and presented an extra chance to draw 200 times experience card, 50 times crazy value card, 50 times proficiency card, 50 times sin value card, and get the Julian Digin gift pack at the same time. Good stuff. Yi Tianyun's eyes lit up. These things are absolutely worth up to 50 million crazy value. Although other things have not been upgraded, for example, crazy mode has not been upgraded, and detective eye has not been upgraded, but all aspects of data have been upgraded. Even if detective eye has not been upgraded, it can be used. After all, the level of detecting eye has not been improved, but the data has been improved in all aspects, which means that the level of exploring eye is sufficient. It's just that the data is not enough. Even if the level is enough, it is meaningless. No matter what, at least my eyes won't go dark and I don't know anything anymore. Of course, he can still understand the situation of God's domain by investigating the information around him, but it is definitely not as convenient and fast as the eye of detecting. Brother Yi, what are you stunned? Hurry up to line up. Lei Zhengyu patted him on the shoulder and motioned him to line up. Yi Tianyun nodded, and followed Lei Zhengyu to the front, standing on the side with the others. At this time, he found that there were still a lot of people in the surrounding area, all of the major races, and only the 2 of them were the cultivators of the human race. I have to say that this is more embarrassing. There are a lot of people in the human race, but due to the blood relationship, some people do not compare to others in cultivation. However, they are all the cultivation bases of the Divine King period. To be precise, they are all of the Star Sovereign level, and the number reaches more than 30 or 40. It is like a Chinese cabbage here, and he is a Star King in the 3 realms. Although it looks like a Chinese cabbage, you reading www.uconch.com, but I don't know how many powerful people have gathered. Judging from the astrolabe map, the mortal realm is very vast, even larger than the entire God's realm. The result is imaginable. There is a star monarch from every force, and there are hundreds, even thousands. Said it is Chinese cabbage, but not Chinese cabbage. After all, so many forces have these hundreds of stars. It can be said that it is not Chinese cabbage, but it can be seen everywhere here, and it really feels like it has just started. After queuing up, it didn't take long for Ji Yanlong headed to walk back and forth in front of them, and said coldly, "The God's realm you are now in is called the Heavenly Oracle God's realm. Now I will give you the opportunity to choose whether to join the Heavenly Oracle domain. If you join the Heavenly Oracle domain, you must obey the orders of the Heavenly Oracle domain. No matter where you come from, what behaviors you have done before, or your status, how many people you receive respect. Here you must absolutely obey our instructions. If you don't obey our instructions, the result will be death." Ji Yanlong's aura came over, pressing them a little softer. The difference in their cultivation base was too big, and their aura was crushed to death. One by one, many people trembled. Their arrogance has been reduced. They are indeed used to being the bosses over there, and they are really reluctant to obey orders when they come here. Now that they are overwhelmed, they immediately know what it means to have a mountain outside the mountain, and there are people outside the people. Ding! Turn on the quest mode of God's domain, take the main quest, break through to Zhu Liandijun, complete the rewards to get 500 million crazy points, 500 million guild points, and 500 million proficiency points. The first mission of God's domain popped up, and it was to make him break through to Lord Julian. Is this progress a bit too fast? Chapter 888 inches. What is the situation? Let me break through to Zhu Liandijun, this is just the beginning. When Yi Tianyun saw the first mission, his whole person was dumbfounded. He is now cultivated. It's not too low, reaching the 8th level of the Emperor's stage. Under this situation, I was indeed ready to move towards the Earth Monarch level, but I still felt that the mission came a bit too early. This is still the main task that allowed him to break through. As for the task of destroying the ancestral land of the evil spirit race, it has not been opened at all. It is obvious that his cultivation is insufficient, and he will definitely not let him pass, unless he reaches the area of the ancestral land now. Maybe he will start the mission in advance. When he was surprised, the surrounding situation changed slightly. Every cultivator was shocked. They were indeed arrogant. They were all kings in the area they were in before. I came here with the same thought, and felt that I could definitely be king. In that mortal world, oneself can be the king, and this is also not a problem here. Although looks much more honest, they all feel very unconvinced in their hearts. Aren't they just guards? After they get the resources here, they will surely be able to climb up quickly, and then step on everyone under their feet and climb higher. This is what most people think. Ji Yanlong seems to see their thoughts. After scanning them, he said coldly, "I know you must be very unconvinced inside, but the geniuses who came here from Fanyu, I don't know how many, and very few can persist in the end. Tell you, the cultivation base you broke through here before can indeed prove that you are amazing, but to be honest, this is just getting started. His practice can only be regarded as playing house, it is really meaningless. From now on, it is necessary to use life to break through. Of course, what you think is your own business. Now I need it. You absolutely obey. If one of you has a much stronger cultivation base than mine, I will bow my head to you obediently. Whether in your world or in the realm of God, strength is respected, and whose cultivation base is stronger, whoever has the right to speak is the main one. Finally, I ask you if you are willing to work for the Tianyun divine realm and never betray the Tianyun divine realm." Looked at each other one by one of them Xingjun looked at him and said, "What if we want to join other gods' realms? There are not only one God's realms, but many God's realms. God's realm is equivalent to a country, but the scope of this God's realm is really too wide, and the scope is not known to be equal to hundreds of 3 realms. There are still countless planets in the God's realm. It can be said that the resources of God's domain are hundreds or even thousands times more than those of the 3 realms. The gap between the two is incredible. The more is in the outer realm, the lower the grade. For example, the Tianyun divine realm is actually equivalent to the first grade divine realm. It belongs to the lowest level and has a very simple and rude naming method. There are 5 ranks in the God's domain, the outermost being the first rank God's domain, and the second rank God's domain extending inside is pushed down. After the star asked the question, the others looked at it, and they were shocked. They all joined in and said such things. Don't you want to die? Of course, if you join the same level of the realm, you must have a corresponding contribution. If you have enough contribution, you can leave by yourself. If you join a higher level realm, we are very welcome, you don't need any contribution. Instead, we will reward you." Ji Yanlong looked at them coldly, and said coldly, "I know you are so lofty, but I will explain here, wait for you to break through. Let's talk about the Earth monarchs of different levels. There is no Earth monarch of the 5th level or above, the high-level gods are too lazy to recruit you, looking at each other one by one, I think this is incredible. And other rules. By the way, I told you so much, it was for the sake of cherishing my talent. It's not easy for you to cultivate to this point. I'm all over here. Yu Yanlong's eyes are expressionless, but there is a bit of enthusiasm in the words. After all, the real domineering high-level people are too lazy to say a few words. I am willing to be loyal to the heavenly oracle god realm. I am willing to do the same. They all choose to join one by one. If you want to join a power, you must be loyal to this power. Whether it is in the mortal domain or in the god's domain, the rules are the same. If a white-eyed wolf is recruited, no one would be happy. Tianyun also chose to join the heavenly oracle realm. He believes that other divine realms are similar, just like recruiting a new disciple. It must be quite strict. I almost forgot to tell you that if you want to join our oracle god realm, it is impossible to join if the level is not enough. At most, you can only serve as an outer disciple, just like those on the side. You should first serve as an outer disciple for the heavenly oracle realm, and you can only officially join when you are qualified. Yu Yanlong said, when the time comes, let me see if you can be truly arrogant. They all nodded one by one. That's for sure. If they don't pass the test, the heavenly oracle god realm will definitely not let them join. Soon Yu Yanlong didn't continue speaking, and led them to the front, as if to take them to the assessment site. When they followed, Lei Zhengyu was pushed away severely after only a few steps. Human kid, stand behind. Pushing Lei Zhengyu away was a tree cultivator, with roots all over his body, and a strong vitality surrounding the surface of his body. That's right, Yu read www. Ukonch. The practitioners of the human race obediently stood behind us and lined up. I didn't expect that there would still be someone who could cultivate to this level, such as human race. What luck. Looking at them one by one, the eyes are very unfriendly, and I look down on them from the bottom of my heart. What are you talking about? Lei Zhengyu's anger immediately surged, and his body cracked and released thunder light. Why? Want to fight? They didn't care at all. Tianyun reached out and patted Lei Zhengyu on the shoulder, and smiled lightly, don't get angry, calm down. Oh, it's better for this human race to be more sensible, and find yourself. Do you understand the positioning of the Tree Clan? The Tree Clan's strong man was full of contempt. What kind of positioning is servility? The Terran stepped on it twice, and they immediately compromised. The other race sneered. Brother Yi, we can't let them look down upon. Lei Zhengyu looks very peaceful, but he will never give in when encountering this kind of thing. You have misunderstood what I mean. What to do with these rubbish general knowledge? Rubbish is rubbish. Get out of the line if you jump in. Tianyun kicked over. The Tree Clan didn't seem to think that Tianyun would do it. They didn't react. With a bang, the Tree Clan was kicked and flew out. Sticking to the wall beside him, the branches on his body were broken. Soon he looked at the dumbfounded Lei Zhengyu and smiled. Sometimes don't talk nonsense to them, just do it. Lick their bitch mouth. Tianyun couldn't bear this too. I look down on their human race, so just fight until they admit it. Chapter 889. Tianyun said that he would kick him. He was really merciless, no matter where it was, as long as he looked down on them, he would definitely fight back immediately. If you choose to swallow your breath, then I guess I can't look up here. W. After all, looking around here, the human race is a minority, not the majority. Lei Zhengyu was dumbfounded. He thought Tianyun wanted to compromise. Now it seems that this is not the case at all. He just fights and fights, there is no sign. Bobdom, you rubbish tribe, I will kill you. The tree tribe roared and rushed over here, trying to fight with Tianyun. Was kicked out by the human race in front of so many people. You can imagine the humiliation in your heart. How could you not want to come back with revenge? Enough. Yu Yanlong stepped forward, and a terrifying wave of air was suppressed here, forcing the Tree Clan to stop. Other Tree Clan who wanted to do it were also roared. Standing in place, dare not move at all. Yu Yanlong walked over here step by step, looking at them coldly and saying, very energetic. If you want to have a test, wait until the assessment is over. I won't object to any fights at that time. Line up for me obediently, don't make trouble with me, do you understand? Understand? Every tree family nodded and looked at Tianyun, but it was full of anger, and there was a sense of just watching. Tianyun didn't bother to pay attention to them, and led Lei Zhengyu to follow the original team. In fact, there was no need to line up here, but the tree clan would come to make trouble when they saw their human clan not pleasing to the eye. Ji Yanlong looked at Yi Tianyun up and down, with an imperceptible smile at the corner of his mouth. Without accusing him, he raised his foot to lead the way. After Ji Yanlong walked forward, the tree clan behind said coldly, "Boy, if you have a seed, after the assessment is over, try it with me." Tree Shang, maybe they couldn't even pass the test, they are not qualified to compete with you at all. Xuanhuan, the companion nearby, sneered. If wants to join the heavenly oracle god realm, the assessment will definitely not be easy. Even if you reach the level of the Star Lord, you cannot enter at will. After all, reaching the Star Monarch cultivation base, there are high and low arguments. Is just like the evil spirit race. It is also a level. When the blood is exploded, it will explode almost instantly, absolutely killing opponents of the same level. That's right, just look at your performance in this assessment, idiot. Xu Shang snorted coldly. If he could do it, he would have done it a long time ago. Ji Yanlong said it, he is sure can't continue to mess around. Other races showed smirking expressions. Although they didn't come to cause trouble, looking at those expressions, they were also extremely disdainful of humans. Yi Tianyun passed a cold light in his eyes, too lazy to care about these races, some things really couldn't be changed easily. If you want them to change their minds, they can only make themselves stronger. Led by Ji Yanlong, they walked forward through the aisle. After going out, the spacious hall came into view. I thought I would walk out of this hall, but who knew I would walk around, but came to another hall. However, there is a huge array in the center of this hall, and a holy divine light can be seen shining down from the sky. Looking up, there was nothing outside, just a normal piece of sky. Wait for your assessment is very simple. If you stay here for more than 2 days, you can officially join our heavenly oracle god realm. Ji Yanlong stood in front of the formation and looked at them and explained. It shines down here. In fact, there is nothing peculiar about the light, it is the special energy outside of God's domain. Since you are here for the first time, you must undergo a special baptism and transformation before you can truly be regarded as a member of God's domain. Member. After being transformed, your most basic energy will be transformed into star power. The longer you persist, the better the effect, and the more thorough the transformation will be. At that time, your future cultivation, it is of great help. Persistence for 2 days is the most basic. If it is less than 2 days, you can only become outer disciples. You can determine whether you can join in through your future contributions. If it takes more than 2 days, then you can successfully join the heavenly oracle god realm. Ji Yanlong explained in detail, causing them to nod their heads. It turns out that there is such a thing. Staying here for a long time can transform the power in his body. Star power. Yi Tianyun's eyes flashed, thinking that the eyes of the detecting eye looked at other people's data. Everything has changed, and it turned out to be a star power. Lei Zhengyu has not been baptized, but the data is still judged by star power, and there is no problem. Master Ji, what is the current record? Yi Tianyun asked at this time. Everyone looked at him one after another, all showing disdain. Cut. As if he could break the record. Xu Shang couldn't help but mock. The current record in the heavenly oracle god's domain is 10 days. Those who have reached this level are now the heavenly lord of the heavenly oracle god's domain and the heir of the next domain lord. Ji Yanlong looked at Yi Tianyun and said, if you can break this record, you reading www. Ukanshukam or close to this record, you will be able to obtain key training and directly become the core training target. Everyone shines. This is still a great temptation if you persist for a little longer, it will have a great impact on your own future. Yi Tianyun nodded, he must be close to this record, or set a record. It is impossible to keep a foothold here. The more low-key, the less you can get more resources. Especially in this country full of discrimination, if your own strength is not strong, who can obey you? Let alone give you more resources. If there is no problem, you can start the assessment now. There is no time limit, and the assessment will start after entering. If you faint in the middle, it will be over. No matter how you try afterwards, there will be no such opportunity again. Ji Yanlong exclaimed. After finishing talking, everyone immediately began to prepare, so that they can go in for the assessment. Xu Shang sneered next. 2 days, I hope you don't. He fainted immediately. But if you fail, I think you will definitely die a bit worse. did not join the heavenly oracle realm, so the difference in status is even greater. When the time comes, Xuanhuan will kill him as much as he wants. If there is a difference in status, there is no restriction on executing people at will. Really, take care of yourself first. Tianyun didn't bother to pay attention to him, and immediately turned his head to look at Lei Zhengyu and said, "Our human race has always been underestimated. This time we have to survive for 2 days. The longer the better. Brother Yi, I just meant it. Hit them back fiercely and let them know that our human race is also not weak." Lei Zhengyu's eyes are full of warfare. Chapter 890 Bet. Every examiner stepped into this big formation one after another, and just as they stepped in, a divine light shone from above, covering the examiners. Ran. ENW. W. Following the strong energy, madly poured into the cultivator's body, and began to make crazy transformations, wanting to transform the low-level energy in their bodies to the energy that conforms to the gods. The cultivators who did not go in outside, saw those who had just entered, and were immediately filled with terrifying energy. A lot of energy in the body was squeezed out one after another, and it turned out that no matter what energy it was squeezed out little by little. Is obviously to first squeeze out the energy in the body, then fill the body with brand new energy, and finally transform the body. It is estimated that this process will take at least 2 days before it can be considered a considerable improvement. They gave 2 days, not arbitrarily, they must have their reasons. It's just that this process is extremely painful, and the energy is quickly stripped out, followed by a flood of new energy. Since this energy is very violent, it takes a process to subdue. But they are all star kings, and they are all top powerhouses in the mortal world, so they must have some ability. Tianyun and Lei Zhengyu looked at each other and walked inside. Just entering, Tianyun also felt a violent energy, poured in from the top of his head, and then began to transform the spiritual power in his body. He quickly meditated and began to stabilize the amount of violence in order to transform the energy in his body. His most basic energy has always been spiritual power, and if it were transformed into star power, his combat power would definitely be even higher. This reminded him of the previous battles against the evil spirits. He always felt that their power was terrifying, and the energy that erupted was different. It seems to be Xingli. They have a higher level of energy, so they have a natural advantage in fighting, and this alone is enough to throw them away. Even though he has a crazy system now, it has nothing to do with changing his physical constitution. The only thing that is relevant is the power of the blood in the body, which can withstand the influx of more energy and make faster transformations. He has always been proud of his physique. The dragon god bloodline was at the 8th rank level, almost ascending to the top level. His current physique was quite strong, and his bare hands could equal the strength of the middle rank artifact level. Therefore, this so-called assessment is nothing more than looking at the strength of physique, and then looking at the strength of perseverance. His perseverance will never lose to anyone, whether it was before or now. Now crazy mode can't provide the slightest help. Everything really depends on what you have gotten over the years. You must hold on. Tianyun closed his eyes and began to swallow the energy around him, running the domineering god swallowing art. Others are eager to come in slowly. He wants to be faster, wants to transform his body more thoroughly. He wants to be strong enough to protect his loved ones. Ah! Was accompanied by a scream. Less than a day later, someone passed out. After fainting, the cultivator no longer absorbs the star power, it can only be regarded as the completion of the transformation. Jiyu Yanlong did not drag him out. In a sense, the transformation has already been completed. From now on, there will be no problems walking around in God's domain. In that case, just wait for them to wake up, there is no need to drag them out. Less than a day. Jiyu Yanlong shook his head, feeling it was too bad. He was a bit arrogant before, and now he passed out just after coming in, which is really embarrassing. Captain Jiyu, these are all newcomers. At this time, a cultivator came here. Judging from the structure of his body, it was actually a tree clan. Jiyu Yanlong is not a tree clan, but a strong dragon clan. To be the captain here, his level is definitely not easy. It turned out to be Captain Xuanhuan. Aren't you at another entrance? Why are you so free to come over this time? Jiyu Yanlong looked at the approaching Xuanhuan, with an expression of disgust in his eyes. I just happened to come over to do something, so I will stop by and see what new disciples you have recruited. Xuanhuan looked up and found that his own race was evaluated in it, and his eyes lit up. These 2K Miaozi is not bad. I didn't expect disciples of the same race to come for the assessment. After he nodded, when he saw Yi Tianyun and Lei Zhengyu sitting beside him, his expressions of joy changed immediately. To frown, Captain Ji, let the human race come in for the assessment. Captain Xuanhuan, I'm doing business for business, there seems to be no rules, don't let the race be evaluated, right? Ji Yanlong said calmly. This is true, but all the people who came to the assessment didn't stick to it for even a day. It's really bad, and it doesn't mean anything. Even if it passes successfully, it hasn't happened before. Well, let the Tianyun divine region lose face. Xuanhuan said dissatisfiedly. My side will not let people come over for assessment, they want to join any power, then join what power? Ji Yanlong frowned beside him, and said solemnly, that's an example, Captain Xuanhuan, you are not in compliance with the rules. What if you miss a good seedling? Good seedling? You don't think these two boys are good seedlings, right? Xuanhuan laughed. I have tested so many Terran cultivators, you reading book www.ukshu.com, if one can appear in 100, it's alright, it's already pretty good. Up. Captain Ji, your vision is still not good. It is a waste of resources to recruit human cultivators in. Oh, I don't think they will be bad. Captain Ji said calmly. If nothing happens, Captain Xuanhuan, you can go back. Captain Ji, I have long heard that your temper is quite stubborn, but I won't leave now. Xuanhuan looked at his two kinsmen and sneered. Why don't we make a bet? If any one of the two human races surpasses my kinsman, then even I lose. If I lose, I will give one of them a selection quota. How about, on the contrary, if Captain Ji loses, you will give your choice of quota to my two kinsmen, how about? Captain Ji frowned. The number of spots is a very important one. Every team leader gets a spot only once every 10 years. The number of spots is actually to allow them to enter an oracle realm. In the special treasure pavilion of, you can obtain treasures according to your own abilities. This treasure can be said to be martial arts, weapons, or other treasures. This is inconclusive. In short, it is possible to return empty-handed. It is also possible to obtain extremely good treasures. Has served here for 10 years, before they have a chance to make a decision. You can use it yourself, or you can use it for newcomers you admire. Why? Don't you dare to gamble? Xuanhuan shook his head and said. Sure enough, even Captain Ji, I think the human race is impossible to win. It's a hell of a small race that can win. Captain Ji turned his head and looked at Yi Tianyun. From Yi Tianyun, he saw what he looked like when he was young, and immediately smiled. Gamble. Chapter 891. Seeing that Ji Yanlong was willing to bet with him, Xuanhuan was happy in his heart. After all, this is a free gift. How could he be unhappy? It was very uncomfortable for him to take care of Ji Yanlong for supporting the human race, so he wanted to cheat Ji Yanlong on the other hand, who knew he would really want to jump in. If Ji Yanlong was unwilling, he couldn't force it. If he agreed now, it would be different. This is what you said, absolutely can't go back. Xuanhuan said hurriedly. What I say, I never regret it. Ji Yanlong looked indifferent. How could he not know the idea of Xuanhuan, but he chose to believe in this new human cultivator. He felt that Yi Tianyun had a chance to make a comeback. With the previous momentum, he felt that Yi Tianyun would never be worse than anyone. That's okay, let's wait and see. Xuanhuan smiled with satisfaction. How can he not be happy to get one more chance to make a decision? This was just the beginning, and not long after he thought he was going to win. Yi Tianyun, who was inside, didn't know the situation outside, and continued to swallow the star power around him, transforming the energy in his body. As the transformation progresses faster and faster, he feels that his combat power is increasing in a straight line. He didn't feel anything wrong, his body was like the vast ocean, containing all the rivers, and continuously sucking energy into his body. Others are beginning to be unable to bear it, which means that their physique is really a bit poor and can't hold more energy. The key to is that their control is also very poor, otherwise they can quickly convert energy so that they can easily transform the energy in their body. As time passed, as the next day was about to be approached, practitioners began to fall. They didn't hold on even the next day, and they fell down, which meant that they had no chance with the heavenly oracle god realm. In fact, let alone the heavenly oracle god's domain, other gods' domains are almost the same. Those who do not meet the standards are basically difficult to recruit as formal disciples. The potential is too weak, even if it is Xingjun, quite a worthless thing. But Yi Tianyun and Lei Zhengyu, the two of them, passed the next day easily and reached the qualifications. Neither Xushang nor Shuhan had any problems, and they passed the test equally easily, but they didn't stop, they rushed to a higher level. I thought it lasted only 2 days, but I didn't expect it to be sustained by the two of them. Xuanhuan shook his head, his eyes still full of disdain. Ji Yanlong didn't speak, but just watched quietly by the side. On the third day, other people soon failed, and several people fell one after another. A total of 30 or 40 people came for the assessment, and now almost 10 have fallen on the third day. The failure is quite obvious. As for those who failed before woke up, they all left here silently. This is really embarrassing. If I haven't insisted on it for 2 days, what face is there to stay here? Just came to God's domain and was hit hard. You must know that they are in the mortal realm, but a god, who dares not obey him. However, he couldn't even do the most basic entry, and suffered a heavy blow. The third day passed, Tianyun and the others also persisted, and there was no problem. Following the fourth day, many practitioners fell again, but Tianyun and Lei Zhengyu were still strong. At this time, Xuanhuan's complexion changed, and few human races could persist for that long, which gave him a bad feeling. Is mainly Xushang and they seemed to be unable to hold on anymore, their body trembling slightly, unable to hold more energy. What's the matter? Can they still hold on? Xushang opened his eyes slightly, and his face was shocked when he saw Tianyun and others nearby, especially Tianyun was like an old monk. It feels like being in meditation. Seeing this situation, Xushang and the others can only clench their teeth and kept going. They don't want to lose to the human race, they have to persevere in death. On the fifth day, Xushang fainted to the side with a scream, which meant that he couldn't hold on and could only fall down. When Xuanhuan saw this situation, his face suddenly sank, and he whispered in his heart that this guy was so unpromising that he couldn't hold on to the fifth day. There is one more. Xuanhuan did not give up. After all, they were betting on who lasted the longest. It doesn't matter if someone falls, it's the longest one anyway. He prayed in his heart that Xuanhuan would not lose so quickly, and that he would have to win no matter what, otherwise there would be no precious chance. Choose 10 years to get an opportunity. 10 years is not long, but no one wants to work for 10 years in vain. They are so dedicated, not because of this decision. Ji Yanlong looked at Tianyun and Lei Zhengyu, especially when he looked at Tianyun, he felt that he would definitely stick to it. At least it seems that they are much more stable than Xuanhuan, and it is possible to achieve higher results. Soon on the sixth day, Xuanhuan shook his body and fainted to the side. Now Xuanhuan and Xushang both failed, but Tianyun and Lei Zhengyu could still hold on, far surpassing Xuanhuan and Xushang. Captain Xuanhuan, I'm sorry you lost this bet. Ji Yanlong smiled at the corner of his mouth. He didn't expect that he won completely, and he won so thoroughly, crushing them both in all directions. Reading www.ukanyu.co is not a level at all. Okay. Xuanhuan glared fiercely at the two people who passed out in the distance, took out a token and threw it to Ji Yanlong, and said coldly, "Here you." After he finished speaking, he didn't bother to pay attention to his kinsman. He turned around and left. He was too lazy to look at them. This caused him to lose a chance, so I won't say anything. How can he feel happy before he loses face? At the same time, he glanced at the faces of Tianyun and Lei Zhengyu, intending to memorize their faces. If he encounters them in the future, he will definitely make things difficult for them. Ji Yanlong looked at the back of his departure, and refocused his eyes on Tianyun and the others, wanting to see how long they could last. Finally, after the sixth day, Lei Zhengyu shook his body and fainted to the side. By the sixth day, he finally passed out. Do you insist on 6 days? Ji Yanlong's eyes lit up. It is a very good result to be able to persist for 6 days. After the sixth day, most of the people have passed out, and now there are less than 5 people left in 30 or 40 people. It means that Lei Zhengyu has squeezed into the top 10, which is an amazing result. Who said that the human race is inferior to other races? It is now well proved that human race still has great potential to be tapped. When there are fewer than 5 people left at the end, the situation is different. As long as they persist for 1 day, the effect will be more and more different. Tianyun opened his eyes a little and looked around. Unknowingly, there were only 3 people around. Are there 3 people left? Tianyun smiled faintly, closed his eyes again, and continued to devour energy. Chapter 892. There are only 4 people left in the audience, which is still including Tianyun. It was only the 6th day, and there were only so many people left, and I have to say that it is too difficult to break the record. At this time everyone knows how difficult it is to break the record. After waking up, the cultivators shook their heads one after another, thinking that they would be able to hold on for a long time, and only then did they know that the pain was unbearable. Although they know that the longer they persist, the better the effect, but the terrifying power is not something they can persist if they want to persist. On the 7th day, Lei Zhengyu had already woke up, and he looked at Yi Tianyun excitedly beside him, and said excitedly, "It's too great. There are 3 people left." Although he could not hold on for so many days, he was still very excited when he saw Yi Tianyun could hold on for so long. The main thing is to compare most people. Can this not make him excited? I just didn't know who said that I would pass out immediately, now let alone brother Yi, even I can surpass you. Lei Zhengyu turned his head and looked at Xuanhuan and Shu, who looked unhappy. Shang, they both meditated on the side, adjusting their breath. When they saw that Yi Tianyun could hold on, they thought it was incredible. Is this the human race they know? Even if you persist for a long time, the real ability still depends on your fist. Shu Shang waved his fist and said coldly, "When the time comes, I will have the ability to compete with me. I would like to see and persist. After a long time, will it represent that you are very strong? Compared, even if brother Yi doesn't fight you, I will fight you." Lei Zhengyu's eyes flashed with thunder. He is special. His thunder attribute physique really doesn't match his personality a bit. His personality is still relatively gentle and kind, but his attributes are extremely destructive thunder attributes. This contrast is not small. Okay, that's what you said. Shu Shang's eyes were cold. Even if he lost in this regard, he wanted to find his dignity elsewhere. I will do what I say, and I will talk about it when the assessment is over. Lei Zhengyu looked at Yi Tianyun excitedly. Maybe brother Yi can break the record. Dreaming. Shu Shang sneered beside him. It's just a joke, but you can break the record. Do you think the record can be broken at will? You can only hold on for 1 more day at most, continue for 1 more day and then fall. Now on the 7th day, it seems that most people are faltering, and it seems that they can't hold on for too long. However, Yi Tianyun's situation seems to be stable, but everyone else thinks it is pretending to be calm. In fact, it is estimated that he will faint. Really? Wait and see. Lei Zhengyu is confident in Yi Tianyun. After all, he looks so calm. Yi Tianyun is indeed very calm, constantly devouring the star power around him, transforming the situation in his body. He felt that there were too many places in his body that needed to be transformed. He had already turned his spiritual power into star power, and he was beginning to transform the major meridians in his body. Under the violent star power rushing in, the meridians began to expand, but the expansion speed was quite slow. But for him, it is enough to expand. Judging from his physical fitness, he couldn't expand very much originally. He was already very strong, and it would be nice to be able to expand a little bit. Followed him to discover that in the dantian in his body, there was already an alternative scene, that is, a piece of cosmic space was gradually condensed, and a planet began to condense in it, and it was running inside the body. This is a planet. Could it be that after the star power is condensed to a certain amount, this planet can be condensed? Yi Tianyun feels that this may be the term star power, gradually can condense a star field in the body. With the continuous influx of star power, the planets in his body began to form rapidly, soon appeared on the ground, and began to grow life. But this life is limited to plants, and there will be no animals, or human-shaped life, which is very simple flowers and trees. This is quite a miraculous change. Doesn't it mean that a planet of life began to appear in your body, and then life can be transferred in? Is not impossible, but you have to try it later. When changed inside him, the outside was shocked. It was already the 8th day. In the entire assessment venue, only Yi Tianyun was left, and the rest fell one after another. When one of the cultivators woke up, he watched his beautiful eyes flicker, and he was sitting next to him to consolidate the situation in his body. This female cultivator was the second to fall in the last, and she almost persisted for 8 days. Now she can persist for more than 7 days, which is quite remarkable. Was just that she looked at Yi Tianyun's gaze. She was a little bit unwilling, but she didn't expect someone to hold on for longer than herself. Ha ha ha, I said that brother Yi can hold on for longer, and can only hold on for 1 more day. It's overtime now, what do you say? Lei Zhengyu's mouth is also poisonous enough. Immediately began to fight back. Shu Shang and their faces are very ugly. They didn't expect Yi Tianyun to stick to it. It was beyond their imagination. Ji Yu Yanlong on the side of was smiling. Yu reading www.ukanshu.com. Even if it didn't break the record, this time 2 people could last for 7 days, which was beyond his expectation. After recruiting, he will definitely get a lot of rewards. Although persists for a long time and has nothing to do with him, he will definitely be rewarded for recruiting good newcomers. Yes, I said this kid is not easy. Ji Yu Yanlong was very satisfied. If the tree was beside him, his face would be extremely ugly. Persisted for 7 days, and it was also a very good result in the entire Oracle God realm. At least the future achievements are much better than him. He could only persist until the 5th day, which was 2 days less than Yi Tianyun, only 2 days, and the treatment was equal to the difference between the cloud and the mud. Because more than 7 days, you can directly become a core disciple, which is a key training object. Yi Tianyun ignored the external situation and continued to persevere, and soon the days passed. 8th day. 9th day. The 10th day. Soon he will reach the 10th day. As long as he persists through this day, his number of days will be the same as the recorder. Xuanhuan and the others were going crazy with jealousy. They all thought they were going to faint by the 8th day. Who knew that they had been stuck until the 10th day? It was incredible. If it reaches the 10th day, isn't it possible to become one of the successors? Even if they don't become heirs, their status is far from what they can compare, and it makes them feel jealous. Such a good thing, why can't it be their turn? Everyone knows that this has always been an opportunity, but they are not capable enough to grasp it. Chapter 893 Why Should I Faint? Record. Jiyu Yanlong is going crazy when he is ready to reach that record level. If there is a record tie, he will definitely get more benefits. If it broke the record, it would be impossible to imagine. Now everyone was silent, and they all watched Yi Tianyun meditate there quietly. Their eyes were extremely complicated. They really couldn't imagine that the human race would ride on their heads. There are so many differences in their bloodlines, and the bloodlines of the human race are simply rubbish in the trash, one of the most inconspicuous. In addition to the number of people, there are not many advantages. But if there are really many people in the competition, the human race is not the most, but the bloodline is indeed one of the low-level bloodlines. For one reason, there are still many bloodlines, which are indeed classified as low-end bloodlines. The lower the bloodline, the more obvious it becomes as the cultivation base increases. In other words, when I was young, differentiation came out. There are huge differences in both talent and growth. For example, when the evil spirits cultivate in the holy royal stage, they may have a hard time with the human race's divine royal stage. This is the gap, is now approaching the 10th day, which is incredible. The key to seems to be able to continue. At least it seems that Yi Tianyun is in a stable condition, his breath is not chaotic, and he is quite stable in meditating there. Will it really reach the 10th day? Right, looked at each other and felt that something was not real. If so, it would be the second existence that created a 10-day record. If it's close, I won't say it, but if it's the same, it will make them unbelievable. It's so cruel to them. The 10th day was easily reached, and Yi Tianyun became the second existence in the Tianyun divine region to last 10 days. Really reached. They were dumbfounded, thinking that at the last moment, Yi Tianyun would faint to death. However, he didn't faint, he just passed it abruptly and entered the 10th day. The smile on the corner of Jiyu Yanlong's mouth is even brighter. 10 days, 10 days. Yi Tianyun became the second disciple to reach 10 days in this way, which means that he has a boundless future and can immediately enter the key training target. I said Brother Yi will definitely be able to reach 10 days. You can see if you have not, you can only hold on for 2 days, now it is twice as long as you. Lei Zhengyu jumped up happily. When they immediately looked at the situation on Xuanhuan's side, their faces became even more ugly. They kept roaring in their hearts, why could Yi Tianyun really persist until the 10th day, a result they could not achieve? They will be slapped a lot, and they all remained silent, unable to refute a word. Winners and losers, they are losers, and they lose very thoroughly. Then they completely collapsed. I thought Yi Tianyun would be over soon. After all, this is the highest record. It is impossible for anyone to exceed this record. Can be slammed on their faces, and soon Yi Tianyun entered the 11th day, setting an extreme record. Will not only enter the 11th day, but will soon move on to the 12th and 13th day. If they hadn't seen a steady stream of energy pouring into Yi Tianyun's body, they would have thought that Yi Tianyun was already dead, otherwise how could it last for so long? It's been 13 days, is he a freak? Or is there any other high-level race bloodline, otherwise how could it last for so long? Yes, that's right, it can't be the human race, otherwise, how could they persist for such a long time? They all don't believe. It is the human blood. If the human blood can last for so long. However, Yi Tianyun's blood is indeed the human blood, even if it is the blood of the Function God King, it is also the human blood. Said that he has the blood of the Function God King, but it has a little talent in it. When I came here, I discovered that the so-called bloodline of the God King was nothing but a rotten street. Besides, I am not called a God King here, but a Star King, which can be regarded as a relatively ordinary existence in the gods. Is very valuable in the world, but here it is worthless. He is indeed of human blood. Jiyu Yanlong next to him helped confirm and said, although he can feel his breath mixed with other powers, he is of human blood in general. This is an indisputable fact. Don't find other reasons to comfort your failure. He is the human race, don't find any reason for yourself. Jiyu Yanlong hit them hard, leaving them speechless. The human race who was devalued by them is now stepping heavily on them and creating a new record. Finally, on the 14th day, Yi Tianyun slowly opened his eyes. The star power in his body has been completely converted, and it can be said that there is basically nowhere to convert. The planet in the body is full of vitality, which is equivalent to a world with towering trees and various plants overgrowing this world. Keep absorbing, and you can't transform yourself anymore. Tianyun woke up, not that he could not bear it, but the body was reformed and continued to absorb. It is the same as practicing outside, you reading WW. Ukansu. Simply absorb the star power from outside to enhance your cultivation. But Tianyun absorbed this star power and turned it into experience points, not like other cultivators, to strengthen his own power a little bit better. To put it bluntly, he has finished the transformation, rather than fainting. This made him feel weird, thinking that he could keep going. Who knew that after the transformation was completed, there would be nothing to transform? Is it the first time to come to God's domain? If the complete transformation is completed, it will pave the way for the future. Tianyun felt that there was a feeling of deception, and if he persisted for a long time, he could thoroughly improve his physique in advance after transformation. It can adapt to God's domain faster. Doesn't mean that you can keep changing your body all the time, so if you persist for a few months, wouldn't it be invincible? The answer to is not the case at all, it is simply to change the body. If you fainted a few days ago, it can only be said that it will take a long time to run in and it will take more time to reach the level of complete transformation. But this is equal to a race against time, and can have more time than others. Immediately, Tianyun stood up a little depressed and walked outside. At this time, he found that the cultivators around him were looking at him dumbfounded, including Ji Yanlong. Even if persists for 14 days, I can walk out casually, seemingly as easy as walking into my own house. This is the first time in Ji Yanlong's history that someone can hold on to this point and walk out of it at will. Why didn't you faint? Xuanhuan stunned. Why should I faint? Tianyun said calmly. Chapter 894 Shock. Tianyun did not faint and was able to walk out of the big formation. This was something that no one had expected. They all agreed that either they couldn't hold on and passed out, or they just kept going. There was no third situation. Tianyun presents a third situation, that is, to walk out of the big formation, still looks very relaxed. Brother Yi, are you alright? Lei Zhengyu walked over and said in surprise. What can I do? Tianyun looked at him up and down, and said with a smile, by the way, you persisted for a good time. It is really okay for a full 6 days. Although he has been meditating to absorb the power of the stars, it does not mean that he does not pay attention to the surrounding situation. He is very clear about the external situation, and what is happening is very clear. As for what the outsiders said, he didn't bother to pay attention, just covering the spiritual sense within this large array. Is mainly because he wants to know the situation around him, to see the situation of his opponent, and he is too lazy to bother about the discussion outside. It's better to spend this hard on devouring energy. Brother Yi, you are the one who smashed me. You have broken the record. For 14 days, it has exceeded the 4-day record. Lei Zhengyu exulted. Neither I know, the eyes of those guys looking at you have changed, and I think it's funny. Brother Yi, you really win honor for our human race. Really? Tianyun raised his eyes to Xuanhuan and the others, and said with a faint smile, you said before that the two of us will end in less than 2 days. Now, how many days have you been able to hold on? Slaps on the face has always been his favorite. How to ridicule himself before, now how to fight back. Hold on for a long time, does not mean that you are strong, you have the ability to follow. I have a duel. Xuanhuan stood up and looked at Tianyun's eyes full of enthusiasm. For 14 days, if he defeats Tianyun, then even if he persists for 14 days, he will be full of shit in front of him. Tianyun looked at Ji Yanlong and asked, Master Ji, I wonder if we can have a duel here. It is reasonable to say that there is no duel here. Ji Yanlong smiled and said, no problem, you are allowed to fight here, but if you click it, don't hurt your life. You are all new disciples of the heavenly oracle God's domain. That's okay, I will show mercy. Tianyun smiled faintly. You are merciful. Sounds good, I want to see you, how can you be merciful to my men? Xuanhuan immediately became angry, and Xuanhuan next to him was angry, and his eyes changed when he looked at Tianyun. They were shocked before, but now they all want to step on Tianyun hard. This is the existence of the 14-day record. If they defeated it, wouldn't the honor be their own? It's rumored that the longer you hold on, the stronger your strength. If you hold on for about 3 or 4 days, you will defeat 14 days. Isn't it telling others that holding on for 14 days will cost a little? No. Soon the cultivators all around made room for them to have a duel. Ji Yanlong can let them act arbitrarily. In many cases, it is to give Tianyun a face. He wants to see how Tianyun's strength is. With his strength, he can prevent many things from happening, and he will control it. You can do it, so as not to wait until I defeat you and say that I will not give you a chance to do it. It should be said, lest other people say that I do not give a chance to human race. At this time, Xushang was again becoming aloof. I feel that Yi Tianyun is just a rubbish, easily defeated by himself. Really, thank you for the opportunity you gave me. Yi Tianyun looked at him and smiled gently. Then can I take action now? Yes. Now. Boom. Yi Tianyun instantly disappeared in place as soon as he stepped on the ground, at a terrifying speed, even Ji Yu Yanlong couldn't see clearly. Boom. The next moment, Yi Tianyun appeared in front of Xushang, kicking him on the opposite foot, kicking Xushang out. Ah! With a scream, Xushang was kicked out, and finally he stuck to the wall, his branches were shattered to the ground. Even with the thick bark on his body, he was kicked into a deep depression, which seemed to almost pierce the person. Soon Xushang fell from the wall, and then twitched on the ground. The green blood kept spitting out, and he passed out. The strength is good, it has improved a lot, and it feels much stronger than when I just came in. Yi Tianyun internally looked at the situation inside the body, and the eye of exploration quickly revealed the overall situation. The body has undergone energy conversion and is comprehensively strengthened 3 times. The body is strengthened twice, the meridians strengthened 3 times, and the energy is transformed into a new star power. The utilization rate of using anything is increased 3 times. The comprehensive combat power is 6,300 star power. 6,300 star power, when converted into the previous combat power, it is already equal to 630 billion combat power. This is still normal. If it breaks out, read WW. Ukanshu. How terrible can Com reach? Looked at the cultivation of other stars. For example, the level of Xushang is the 5th level of the stars, and the overall combat power is only 2,300 points. For example, the 8th level of the star on the side who has the same cultivation base as his own, now only has 3,200 points of star power. He has 3,000 more star power than them. This gap is terrifying. Even at the peak level, he is not as strong as his own. Only Ji Yu Yanlong was much stronger than himself. He had just reached 20,000 star power just now in the second refining landlord, and the gap was really too big. Sure enough, after crosses a big realm, the effect it often brings is the existence of crushing. Unless you are very against the sky, it is really impossible to fight more than a few levels. It is good to be able to escape, and it is impossible to defeat the opponent. Unexpectedly, the conversion of star power would bring such amazing changes. Yi Tianyun was shocked. After updating the system before, he found that his star power was only 3. More than 1,800 points, nearly 4,000 star power. To put it bluntly, it's not much stronger than the guy the first watched. They have a strong blood, and they can easily be pulled back. Now waits for him to transform, he has 3,000 more star power. This is only superficial data, all kinds of forces need to really burst out to feel. The data given by Explorer Eyes is only superficial and will not be estimated to be particularly deep. It can be said that the only reference type is currently empty. Who can tell if it broke out? Taking medicine or something, treasure or something, blood burst, these are hard to say. No matter what, he was deeply shocked by the power after this transformation. God's domain is really amazing. Chapter 895 Xushang was kicked and exploded. If Ji Yu Yanlong hadn't said that he couldn't kill him, this Xushang would have turned into a pile of waste wood now and could be used to set fire immediately. Everyone was dumbfounded. Even if the Xushang cultivation is not top-notch, at least there are 5-level stars, but he was kicked. Although there is a careless situation in it, it is too simple to be killed in a flash like this. Yi, brother Yi is so good. Lei Zhengyu was so excited that he almost wanted to rush over to hug Yi Tianyun. This is really soothing, just to put these arrogant bastards give it a kick. Ji Yu Yanlong's eyes flashed, he didn't expect to solve it so easily. The speed was so amazing, even he felt it was too fast. Yes, I didn't see the wrong person. Ji Yu Yanlong is full of appreciation for Yi Tianyun. As for the tree hero, he doesn't bother to care about it. Anyway, he doesn't kill it. As for being maimed, follow him. It doesn't matter at all. You have such a heavy hand. After Xuanhuan reacted, he quickly ran to Xushang and picked him up. After examination, he found that the bones in Xushang's body were all broken. Basically half disabled. He looked at Yi Tianyun angrily, and said angrily, "This is just a discussion, how can you play such a heavy hand?" Heavy hand, how did I know he would do that? Vulnerable, it becomes like this with one kick. And he said, "Let me take the first shot, I will take the shot at will." Yi Tianyun said indifferently, "Who knows that your tree clan is so vulnerable if you don't fight so easily?" S words made Xuanhuan angry, and he hurriedly shouted to Ji Yu Yanlong, "Master Ji Yu, he deliberately made a heavy hand to kill Xushang, death is not a violation of the rules. There are no eyes, no one can't grasp it." Ji Yu Yanlong responded indifferently. This is not partial to Yi Tianyun, and the same is true for the outside competition. It is common to have no eyes and serious injuries. As long as there is no death, everything is not a violation of the rules. This. Xuanhuan looked at his fainted companion and didn't know what to say. Since you can't understand what I do you want to avenge your companions? Didn't you say that our human race is rubbish? Don't you compare it with me now to see who is rubbish? Tianyun looked at Xuanhuan and motioned for him to come and try with him. He still slapped his face without hesitation. The previous debt should be repaid. He is not a good person. Since your mouth is cheap, you must obediently move your face and let him pump it. Compared. Xuanhuan stood up angrily. He felt that Xushang was too careless, otherwise how could it be solved so quickly? After he stood up, he quickly took out a low-grade artifact, and said coldly to Tianyun, I will let you human race know where you are and where you stand. Is that enough? Tianyun said indifferently, can you start now? Come on, Xuanhuan said angrily. Since it's rubbish, let me follow like Xushang, I will give you this trash attack first, so as not to give you a chance. As Xuanhuan said, thick armor came out of his body, and those tree vines appeared up and down, wrapping him strictly. The strong vitality is constantly pouring out of the body. This is the special effect of their blood, that is, the super healing ability, plus a strong defense. Is basically comparable to low-grade artifacts just by their own armor, and they do have their arrogant capital. Tianyun is still not at all polite, since he is allowed to attack first, then he will attack first. Xuanhuan just saw the blinking in front of his eyes, the next moment he felt that his chest was about to be shattered, and the whole person flew out, and then hit the wall, vomiting blood after fainting. Before he fainted, he felt that the bones in his chest were all broken, and the armor on the outside was like a piece of paper, and he kicked it. Xuanhuan, like Xushang, fell to the ground and couldn't move. They all passed out and it was difficult to move. Looked at them one by one and both were dumbfounded. If Xushang was unprepared, it would be reasonable to be killed out of care. Now that Xuanhuan is fully prepared, even the body armor has appeared, and he is easily killed by a spike. Can only explain one truth, that is, Tianyun is much better than them. Who else is dissatisfied with our human race, just stand up for me. Tianyun glanced around coldly, wanting to see who really looked down on them so much. When you defeat 2 tree ants, do you feel that you are very powerful? At this time, the rock giant walked out, and the hard rocks on his body looked much harder than those tree ants. Accompanied by the sound of walking with, dong dong dong, the ground was struck and shaken. This person is called Yangfeng and belongs to the rock family. Tianyun looked at him up and down. He had seen this person before, and he could hold on to the 6th day, which is quite good. The strongest advantage of the rock bloodline in his body is strength and defense. I never think so, I just want their mouths to be honest. Tianyun looked at him calmly and said, then what do you want to say? I don't want to say anything, I just want to see what you are capable of. This Yangfeng simply wanted to challenge him. Before Tianyun left, Yu Redding. Ukanshukum severely trampled him on at your feet, let yourself be powerful. No one else was frightened by Tianyun, their eyes were full of warfare. Their cultivation base is much stronger than Xuanhuan, for example, the rock peak cultivation base in front of them reaches the 9th level of Xingjun, which is a fairly high cultivation base. Oh, I'm not interested. Tianyun didn't bother to pay attention to him. Are you humans so timid and fearful? They only bully the soft and fear the hard. Yanfeng mocked. Bullying the soft and fearing the hard. Tianyun turned his head and looked at him with a faint smile. It seems that you all want to step on me, using me as a stepping stone and want to climb higher. I will fulfill you. I don't mind if you want to lie in bed for a few years. Boy, it seems that you are really arrogant enough to break the armor of those 2 trees. I thought he was invincible. Yangfeng stretched out his hand and patted his chest, sneered, if you can break my armor, I will lose. Tianyun looked at him up and down, I have to say that the cost of this rock clan is defense. At the time of exploration, the armor on his body is comparable to a middle-grade artifact. If it is fully exploded, it is estimated to reach the hardness of a top-grade artifact. It turned out to be a shield, are you ready? Tianyun said calmly, I've been ready a long time ago. Don't use too much force, be careful that your feet will be scrapped. Boom, the huge body was kicked and flew out, the large area of stone in the chest was directly smashed by the kick, and the entire huge rock body almost turned into a pile of rubble. I'm sorry, I tried too hard. Tianyun patted the dust on his legs and said calmly. Chapter 896 Relatives Yangfeng was kicked and exploded. The end was no different from Xuanhuan and the others, and it was even more serious. The rubble fell on the ground, which looked really horrible. Everyone was dumbfounded, and the 8th layer cultivation base of Xingjun could still be killed in seconds, which is really incredible. Especially the rock clan that is still so hard can still be killed in seconds, which is really incredible to everyone. This power is too powerful, it's the rock race. Yes, I have seen a battle before, and a cultivator kept slashing with a weapon on the rock race. There are no scars at all, it is really hard and terrible. At the same stage of cultivation, it can basically be said to be an invincible existence. But no matter how invincible, I was kicked and exploded. Is he already breaking through to the level of the Earth Prince? Impossible. If it were at the level of the Earth Prince, we would have sensed it a long time ago. Dijin. One by one, the hearts that wanted to continue to challenge Yi Tianyun immediately seemed to be poured down by a basin of cold water, freezing their hearts severely. Who would dare to challenge Yi Tianyun? Whoever dares to challenge will end up just like the three, lying on the ground honestly. Is not dead, even if he is seriously injured, it is difficult to climb up. It seems that I have not recuperated for several years, I am afraid it will be difficult to get out of bed easily. Yi Tianyun would never show mercy. If it weren't for killing people, they would have become 3 corpses. Since there is no way to destroy them, they can only use the most violent power to explode the bones and meridians of the body. It's that simple. Who else needs to challenge me? Yi Tianyun looked at everyone coldly. Under his cold gaze, some cultivators couldn't help but step back. Close to him, just from the aura, it scared them, like an unsheathed divine sword, with its sharp edge. Was silent, one by one of the women meditating on the side looked up here, and said nothing. She persisted for the second long time, proving that her strength was absolutely extraordinary, but she didn't intend to challenge Yi Tianyun, she just looked curiously. Brother Yi, you are so amazing. Lei Zhengyu came over excitedly, slapped him on the shoulder and said, the rock clan is so powerful, and you have kicked it. If you change to me, I can't kick it. Lei Zhengyu's strength is good, and his cultivation is still quite different from that of Yangfang. Ji Yu Yanlong walked over and looked at them and said, if no one continues to fight, then I announce now that you all have officially become entry-level disciples of the Heavenly Oracle God Realm. Among them, those who persist for more than 7 days directly become core disciples, who persists for more than 7 days becomes a core disciple. Looks at Yi Tianyun and another mysterious woman enviously, even if they don't know what benefits can be gained by being a core disciple, but you can imagine that it is definitely better than they become formal disciples. As for those who persist for more than 5 days, then they can become inner temple disciples, and the future is equally boundless. Ji Yu Yanlong smiled at them, the gain this time is really not small. Then Ji Yu Yanlong led them through the long walkway, which is also a hall outside. But the hall outside is different, here. There are a lot of cultivators coming and going, all accepting tasks or something on the side. Is actually a task hall here. If you want to gain contribution, you must complete tasks here. This is basically everyone has their own power, otherwise, how can they grow their power? They don't want to raise a group of free disciples, so sooner or later they will sit and eat the mountains. While receiving tokens, the inner temple disciples who have been more than 5 days old came here to collect tokens, and those who became core disciples came here to get tokens. Ji Yu Yanlong took them to receive tokens, and each of them received their corresponding tokens, all with their own names engraved on them. After Yi Tianyun got the token, he saw that his token was made of special materials, and it was still a very precious material. This token is a large storage space, which has a huge space and can hold many items. The key is that when he got his hand, he could immediately feel the surrounding tokens, and roughly how far he was. Your token has the ability to identify yourself, whether it is rescue or missions together, you can do it through this token. Ji Yu Yanlong said solemnly, this is your identity. If your token is lost, no matter what level of disciple it is, you will be removed from the Oracle God's domain. The token is equal to your life, and if you lose it, it means that your life is also given. Lost. Of course, if someone deliberately plays missing, if they are found, they will be executed directly by capital punishment. Each face changed suddenly, if the token is gone, wouldn't it be kicked out? Up. Is this condition too strict? Yi Tianyun doesn't think there is anything strict. Unless it is dead, the token will not be lost. If you lose everything like this, you really have no face to stay with this force. Then you two come with me, and someone else will take you to the corresponding place. Yu reading. Uanshu. Ji Yu Yanlong motioned Yi Tianyun and the mysterious woman to come with him. Brother Yi, congratulations on becoming a core disciple. It's just this way. I don't know when I will meet. Lei Zhengyu shouted to Yi Tianyun. Although they have only met for a short time, they are all human races and are discriminated against here. It would be best if they could stay in one place. It's just that the core disciple and the inner temple disciple will never stay in the same place. It will, but no matter when, we must not forget the dignity of being a human race. Yi Tianyun smiled at him. Yes, the dignity of the human race. Lei Zhengyu patted his chest, not to lose his dignity in any way. After speaking, they separated, and Ji Yu Yanlong led them to the outside of the hall. Walking out of this hall, the outside world is a lot of prosperous buildings, and there are many cultivators coming and going in the distance, and their cultivation bases are not very high. Most of the cultivation bases were around the Lingwang stage. Obviously, they belong to the outer disciples, and they all worked hard here. As they walked forward, Jiyu Yanlong turned to look at the mysterious woman, and smiled happily. "You wrong, this time you did a good job. Your father will definitely be very happy. It's okay, but it didn't reach the 10-day record, and the result is not the first." Jiyu Yurong's expression was indifferent, and there was no expression of surprise, but rather disappointed. "It's okay, at least reach the core disciple range." Jiyu Yanlong smiled. "This is all the credit for your advice, uncle, otherwise I will definitely not be able to meet the standard." Jiyu Yurong's eyes showed a grateful look. "Uncle." Yi Tianyun was startled. Dare to love these two or their relationship. Chapter 897. Jiyu Yurong Yi Tianyun looked at the two of them up and down, and when he looked closely, he found that they really had a relationship. For example, Jiyu Yanlong has the blood of the dragon family. As for this mysterious woman, she also has the blood of the dragon family. Just didn't expect that he would come in through the assessment from the outside. He thought he would be born on the side of the Oracle God realm, and the result would be better. It can only mean that they are all from the same origin. Even if Jiyu Yanlong is the captain here, they don't have the right to relocate the tribe. The star power in God's domain is very strong, and it is definitely much better than the outside world in cultivation. What the outside world absorbs is all spiritual power, what is absorbed here is star power, of course the gap is different. No, these are your own efforts, I just give some pointers. Compared to me back then, I have to have better results. If I continue to work hard, I will have a good chance to become an elder in the future. Jiyu Yanlong was very satisfied with his niece. "I will work harder for this." Jiyu Yurong nodded heavily, her eyes full of firm gaze. Jiyu Yanlong turned his head to look at Yi Tianyun, and said, "I believe you can see it. This is my niece Jiyu Yurong. You two know each other. From now on, you will be the same door and take care of each other. Hello, this is Jiyu Yurong, please take care of me from now on." Jiyu Yurong leaned back and nodded very politely. "Well, my name is Yi Tianyun, and I will take care of it a lot in the future." Yi Tianyun smiled politely, at least they don't look like those races and look down on humans. After a brief introduction, Jiyu Yanlong took them to the teleportation array outside the hall, took them on board, and said, "When you go to the hall where the core disciples are, you must pay attention to everything. One point, many people in it are crouching tigers, hidden dragons. Especially Yi Tianyun, I have to say that this time you set a record, you will indeed get attention, but remember, don't be too complacent. Your level is very good and the future is limitless, but as you saw just now, many people want to step on you. Your record is your strength and your troubles. Go there and keep a low profile. It's very good for you." Jiyu Yanlong reminded me earnestly, like an elder. "Master Jiyu, I will do this." "It's just Master Jiyu, it seems that you are not exclusive to humans." Yi Tianyun was somewhat curious about this. After all of them were full of discrimination against him just now. "This is a long story. In short, I don't reject human race. There are my friends in human race. But they are not here for the time being, and I don't know where to go." Jiyu Yanlong shook his head, with a little nostalgic gaze in his eyes. "I think we had been assessed together at the beginning, and then became disciples here. Later they did withdraw from here and chose to go to a farther place. Don't talk about this, I almost forgot, this is a gift for both of you." Jiyu Yanlong took out 2 tokens, handed them to both of them, and explained, "This is a token of choice. After you go to the core hall to report, go to the hall of choice and choose the treasure you like. Belongs to a meeting ceremony." This token was naturally won by Jiyu Yanlong before betting Xuanhuan, and the other token was an extra gift for his niece to meet. "Choose the palace." Jiyu Yurong felt excited in her heart, and said, "Thank you, uncle." Yi Tianyun is not very familiar with this. Seeing Jiyu Yurong so excited, I know this thing is not simple. "Thank you, Master Jiyu." Yi Tianyun also thanked me. "You don't have to thank me for this. You have won everything yourself. After all, you made a bet with Captain Xuanhuan before. This bet is still a bet from you, so it is your own win." Jiyu Yanlong said with a smile. "No matter what, Master Jiyu can give me this choice token, which is equivalent to taking care of me." Yi Tianyun smiled. "Okay, don't say much about hypocrisy. I can get a record-breaking existence like you, and I can get a lot of benefits. Speaking of, I still get benefits from you, thank you, no need to say more." Jiyu Yanlong stretched out his hand and patted him on the shoulder, and smiled lightly. "You two go, I'll send it here, I can't go inside." They both little bit head. When he was about to leave, Jiyu Yanlong remembered something, turned to look at them and added, "By the way, you must proceed cautiously to the chosen hall. The opportunity is rare. If you can, you need to promote yourself first, where luck and chance are needed. Of course, the most important thing is his own strength. After finished the explanation, he turned around and left, not staying here any longer. His duty is to manage the passage over there, and there is no way to interfere with the situation here, so there is no need to go in. After Ji Yanlong left, Ji Yurong didn't say anything to Yi Tianyun, but walked in sullenly, as if there was nothing to talk to him. Originally, the two of them were not familiar with each other. The care that Ji Yanlong said was only a kind word. As for how Ji Yurong did it, it was her own business. Yi Tianyun didn't say anything to her, so as not to be embarrassed, and there is no topic to talk about. After they walked out of the teleportation array, they walked forward. They didn't even reach the core hall. From a distance, they could see a huge palace in front. It is not so much a palace as it is a huge city, an endless city. It doesn't seem to belong to the same place anymore, right? Yi Tianyun looked around, feeling that this place is completely different, and they are not on the same planet. It seems that you don't have much research on the Tianyun divine realm. Ji Yurong glanced at him and said as she walked forward, there are countless planets in the Tianyun divine realm, and there is only one city on each planet. We used to be called the Guardian Star, and the place we have arrived now is called the Nuclear Sky Star, which is specially provided for the core disciples to live in. Of course there are many other planets, which are equal to a city, which can be passed through the teleportation array. To go, you can also go through the spirit ship. Ji Yurong didn't seem very close, but he answered very seriously. It's a realm of God, it's really a big deal. A planet and a city, he just searched around with his spiritual consciousness, it was many times larger than the ordinary world. There is only one city on such a big planet. This is too arrogant, isn't the area everyone living in is terribly large? This huge city in front of you is the best proof. This is interesting, you have to take root here quickly. Yi Tianyun feels that he must have a place here, otherwise he really won't be able to get more resources. Chapter 898 Inches Identity Token. Yi Tianyun and Ji Yurong had just walked over, and the guards immediately intercepted them, staring at them fiercely, and the pressing aura was immediately suppressed. This is the Lord Yilian, who is guarding the gate here. Although as a master of the first refining of the earth, Yi Tianyun knows that these cultivators are basically at the end, and it is quite difficult to move forward, so he serves as a guard to gain a little contribution in exchange other things to improve cultivation. Yi Tianyun and Ji Yurong both took out the core disciple token, and the guard took it over for inspection. When they saw the token in Yi Tianyun's hand, they were immediately dumbfounded. Did you hold on for 14 days? The guard looked at the message on the token, very unbelievable. Let alone guards, even the people who made tokens for Yi Tianyun before suspected that they had misunderstood them. How could there be any existence that persisted for 14 days? You know that the highest record is only 10 days, and now it is 4 days longer than the highest record. How can it not be shocking? In the end, it was Ji Yanlong who provided evidence, and the other party believed Ji Yanlong's words, otherwise they would really not believe it. The evidence is the recording disc, which can record the picture completely, and there is basically no way to fake it. Every time Ji Yanlong has to record it and provide it when making the token. If a particularly outstanding one appears, it needs to be handed over to the elder level. Otherwise, just relying on Ji Yanlong's mouth, who would believe it? Yes, what's the problem? It's not the first time Yi Tianyun has seen this expression. Is it so shocking? With so many cultivators, only one is over 10 days old. However, Ji Yanlong was targeting the heavenly oracle god realm. As to whether other god realms had any other number, then this is another story. At least in this Tien oracle domain, only Yi Tianyun spent 10 days alone. No problem, please go inside. The guard's attitude is completely different. His eyes are full of worship, which has greatly changed from his previous attitude. This made Yi Tianyun shook his head. Sure enough, if he is low-key, can he enjoy such treatment? Ji Yurong besides sighed deeply. How much does she hope that this treatment is her? If you can get this treatment, you can bring your family back, unfortunately this is not her. Immediately after the two of them entered, it was only a few steps in, and someone rushed out of it. The first two old men came out. Their heads were messy, their eyes hidden in the chaos were full of golden light, and they looked up and down Yi Tianyun as if they saw a treasure. The human race kid can hold on for 14 days, it's incredible. Yes, it's incredible. In 14 days, very few people can achieve this result. There is one in God's domain. Hey, let me take this kid as a disciple. No, old man, you, give me a disciple. Bah, to be my disciple, my level is higher than you. Fart, you, your level is higher than me. Do you want to be better now? The two of them just came out, and immediately began to quarrel very hard. When the disciples on the side heard the content of the quarrel, all of them were dumbfounded. What is the situation? insisting on 14 days. What is it for 14 days? Could it be said that the baptism of God's domain has persisted for 14 days? Here, how is this? Possibly, the record has been only 10 days. How could there be 14 days? But the two elders said so, it can't be fake. God, a monster that persists for 14 days, or an individual, human race. How can this be? The most trash race can even last for 14 days. Quote. The discussion immediately exploded, and some of them spread to the core hall to let them know that a monster is coming. But after everyone heard it, they thought it was incredible. How could the human race appear so enchanting? It is logically impossible, but the two elders will lie. Especially they are still vying to become their own disciples. This is a situation that has never been seen before. Unless you are in the top 10 of the core hall, you are not eligible to be accepted as disciples by the two elders, and becoming the top 10, or the top 3, is just a chance, not an absolute. Has just come when they arrived at the core hall, they broke their heads for this, and all of them came out to see the truth. They wanted to see how sacred it was that they could hold on for so long. In less than a moment, outside the hall entrance it's just full of people, let's say there are hundreds of people here. These are all joined after persisting for 7 days, none of them are general, but I did not expect that there will be so many people who persist for 7 days. Tianyun looked at the two old men in front of him, and was very surprised that his cultivation had reached the level of Tianyun. The key is that the same Tianyun, the same level, the combat effectiveness presented is completely different. Yanglong. Heavenly Monarch's 3-layer cultivation base, possesses a powerful force of the sunshine to the sun, and can burn all objects. Weaknesses are restraint from the yin and cold things, the comprehensive combat power is 250,000 stars. Mingyueching. Tianjin's 3-tier cultivation base, U reading www.ukench.om possesses a powerful cold to yin causing power that can freeze all objects. The weak point is restraint from the strongest and most young, the comprehensive combat power is 220,000 stars. Is the existence of mutual restraint. The key is that the difference in combat effectiveness is so much, which makes him feel very strange. This is a full difference of 30,000 points of star power. If converted, it would be a combat power of 3 trillion. Hey, there is such a thing. Tianyun saw the detailed content in the Eye of Exploration, which is relatively small words, specially marked. Yonglong was created by the breakthrough of the 8 refining Earth Lord, and Mingyueching was created by the breakthrough of 7 refining Earth Lord. Breakthrough at different levels, the gap will be so amazing. Tianyun was a little surprised. It seems that this aspect has to be well understood. He does not know too many things. To come to this God's domain, you must learn more about it. Forget it, don't make any noise. Let him choose who is the master. Is this all right? That's okay, this is a good way, let's choose. The two turned to look at Tianyun, staring at him and asked, Speak, you want to choose which of us to be the master? Around when people see the situation here, their jealousy is about to explode. Why can they choose their own master? They are selected, and they are not necessarily selected. The gap is too big, right? Gu Yurong next to is so small now that no one pays attention to her at all. Whatever persists for 7 days, here is the stuff of bad streets, which can be seen everywhere. The two elders didn't bother to look at her from start to finish. This was the gap. Chapter 899 Owning Ice and Fire. Two extremely powerful Tianjin looked at him straightforwardly. With a single finger, Tianyun could be easily crushed by the terrifying combat power. I have to say that after the cultivation level is improved, the combat power is really too explosive, 250,000 star power, this is still in a normal state. If it broke out completely, wouldn't it be 300,000 star power? This cultivation base is terrible to think about. Can you destroy the 3 realms with your backhand? When Tianyun was in the 3 realms, he felt that the God King stage could already destroy the 3 realms, is indeed the same. Although the 3 realms can be destroyed without raising your hands, but with a little effort, the 3 realms will still be destroyed. As for breaking through to the heavenly sovereign level, it can be said that there is a complete crushing existence, and the 3 realms can be exploded by flipping your hands. Blasted a world with one punch, not nonsense. Soon he looked at the 2 heavenly monarchs, smiled and said, Why not, both of them will become my masters. Isn't that perfect? They both suddenly startled. Others were even more dumbfounded, and some even sprayed directly. This kid is too arrogant, isn't he just breaking a record? He still wants to choose 2 as the masters. Yes, it would be funny if you anger the 2 masters, is he sure he can accept 2 masters? It's a joke. It's an idiot, a trivial human race, and so arrogant. I really can't understand him. If the 2 elders are here, I really want to go up and challenge him. Ellipsis. One by one is full of sourness, and is very dissatisfied. Originally, it was very unsatisfactory to be an individual, but now it is still so arrogant. Choose 2 masters. Naturally unsatisfactory. They are dissatisfied, and Yi Tianyun will not be satisfied. He has just arrived here and must be taken by the 2 masters. This is Tianjin. If there are 2 masters, wouldn't his background be harder? He wasn't a fool, so he just threw it over and said he didn't want a master or something. There was no need for this. Even if he will surpass them later, but now he is much weaker than the 2 elders. With them as the background, it is definitely hard enough. The 2 elders frowned and looked at him and said, "Boy, are you too greedy? It seems that you don't know our situation. The attributes are incompatible at all, or just cultivating the power of ice with him, or the power of flame with me, the 2 are simply incompatible. Being able to practice one of them is already pretty good. That's right, you can be arrogant if you have some skill, but you are very wrong. Too greedy, how can such Dao Xin cultivate?" The 2 of them have a rapid decline in their favorability towards Yi Tianyun. Sometimes people can't be too greedy. If they are too greedy, problems will easily occur. Haste is not enough. Everything has to be done slowly. The cultivators around immediately showed awkward expressions. They were very happy to comment on this scene, and it was obvious that the 2 masters were unhappy. If you choose any master, at most you will offend one of them. If you are too greedy now, you will offend both of them. Haha, idiot, it's fun now. The 2 elders are offended, and the stupid people are really divided into races. Yes, see how he answers. Neither side pleases, people are so stupid. They felt that Yi Tianyun was really a fool, especially when they heard the words of the 2 elders. Their stomachs hurt even more with laughter, and they wished that the 2 elders would give up Yi Tianyun and not accept them as apprentices. Ji Yu Yurong next to shook her head disappointedly. As expected, she became proud of her achievements, which made her feel a pity. If this continues, sooner or later, she will be abandoned. 2 elders, juniors can practice 2 kinds of flames, and the foundation is not bad, so I thought that the 2 elders must become the masters of the juniors. It is not that the juniors are greedy, but the juniors can practice this way. Yi Tianyun didn't change his face, but still kept a faint smile. Everything is under his control. What? Can you cultivate 2 kinds of flames? The 2 elders looked at each other, and among them, Yu Yanglong frowned and said, "Yin and Yang are hard to coexist. Are you sure they can coexist? Are cultivators, are they all ordinary flames?" Yi Tianyun did not use his mouth to explain, but raised his left hand and opened it gently. With a bear, the immortal fire rose up, letting the surrounding temperature rose linearly. Immediately, his right hand opened again, with a bear sound, the fire of the sky also poured out, causing the temperature to plummet. 1 hot and 1 cold, 2 extreme flames. In particular, they are all upgraded to high-grade heavenly flames, which belong to the full level. Previously, he had upgraded his equipment to the full level, so it could be said that he couldn't upgrade at all, it was completely top level. Even if he hadn't reached the full level before, he was filled with proficiency. After all, these 2 types of flames belong to a high level. For him, both refining tools and alchemy are of great help. Sky Yin Fire Alchemy is a very good choice, even better than Immortal Fire Alchemy. After Yi Tianyun released 2 big flames, he made the 2 flames overlap, and there was no conflict at all. The people around looked dumbfounded, and didn't believe their eyes at all. They all know these 2 kinds of flames, even if they are called differently, the effect is absolutely clear. What? There are 2 flames, the fire of the sky and the fire of immortality. Yu Yanglong and Ming Yueqing were dumbfounded. They felt unbelievable, both of them existed in mutual restraint, and they existed in one person at the same time. In fact, even if it is against each other, it is impossible for one party to be quite strong. This can easily lead to conflicts and cause explosions. This situation is not uncommon, so it is basically impossible to see flames with 2 extreme mutual restraints appear, otherwise the 2 of them will not feel dissatisfied. Because this was impossible, Yi Tianyun said that when he let them become masters, he felt very unhappy. "I don't know the 2 elders, can I be your apprentice like this?" Yi Tianyun looked at their shocked expressions and felt quite satisfied. These were all in his expectation. Everyone else reacted, and their hearts were shocked like a stormy sea. The previous ridicule turned into shock. More often than not, I couldn't believe it, wondering if I was dazzled. It's okay. It's really a miracle. How did you manage to cultivate the extreme flames of the 2 mortal realms to this level? If we both cultivated it, you may become the first strong man with the dual extreme energy of ice and fire. The 2 of them no longer have the dissatisfaction they had before, their favorability has risen sharply, and their eyes are full of madness and excitement. Where did they have their previous dissatisfaction? They just wanted to accept Yi Tianyun as an apprentice. Chapter 900 Demon Fire. Ahem, I don't know the 2 elders, this time I become the master of the younger generation, don't you have any opinions? You don't think the younger generation is talking big, do you? The younger generation is not talking nonsense, Just thinking that you want. I have made some achievements in this area, I want to try more, but I don't know if it's okay. Yi Tianyun's tone is neither overbearing nor overbearing. There is no arrogance, he is a good young man who loves cultivation. Of course. We were not quite clear just now, thinking that you are so lofty, it turns out that you have a special ability in this area. Yu Yanglong was surprised, and immediately turned his head to look towards Ming Yueqing. Ming Lao, then we too will teach him together. Of course it's okay, I haven't been so excited for a long time. Ming Yueqing said in surprise. Not only does it make records, but it can also be like this. Special abilities, if you don't accept them as disciples, you will regret it forever. Each of them is more excited than the other, and the other is more excited. They are like a top treasure, even more than a top treasure. It's also exciting. After all, treasures will not grow, but people will grow. As they become stronger, all treasures will stand aside. Ji Yuyurong next to looked at Yi Tianyun's eyes as if she had seen a ghost. She was closer, so how could she not feel the power of the two flames? Originally thought that Yi Tianyun was too arrogant, but finally found that they had all misunderstood, and they had a deep misunderstanding. It's impossible. It's a double flame. Bah, what's so great about this? But it just happened to have some luck. I'm not sure after training, the body will explode. Hey, this is really inaccurate. Cultivation overcomes dual power, exploding bodies are everywhere. Their tone is really it was sour and inaudible. He thought that Yi Tianyun's dual attributes of cultivation might still be able to persist now, but he might explode later. When the time comes, the resources dropped are all gone, and that's too bad. Of course, they said that, they didn't dare to tell the two elders face to face that they were both so excited. If they poured cold water in the past, they would probably be thrown out. The apprentice has seen two masters. Yi Tianyun smiled and bowed forward, so he recognized the two masters. How could he not be such a cheap master? Even if he has a system now, he still needs a lot of resources. If he gets help from two powerful heavenly monarchs, it will be difficult for him to stay strong. Although you can upgrade by killing monsters, don't forget that there are other ways to upgrade. For example, taking pills or something, maybe like that soul-gathering pills, can provide explosive experience. The key to is that I am not familiar with the place of life here. You can use this to familiarize yourself with the situation here. There is a backstage behind, and it is easier to kill monsters. Okay. The two elders smiled openly and dragged Yi Tianyun into it. Let's go in, talk to both of us, you can start preparing for strengthening cultivation right away. Your immortal fire and sky yin fire are all at the level of the mortal realm, the real flame of the god's realm, then but it has reached the level of demon fire. As Yu Yanglong stretched out his hand, a flame gushed from his hand. This flame is not red, but white flame. The flames had just come out, and the surrounding temperature immediately rose by hundreds of degrees. If their cultivation base were not low, they would have been burnt to ashes. Bayan Bone Fire. Reincarnation Class High-Grade Flame, 1. Of the 10 great demon fires, with a domineering scorching flame that can burn all objects. Special effect. Greatly increase the chance of success in refining an alchemy. Reincarnation Flame. The rank of here is no longer limited to the sky level, and the sky level continues to be the reincarnation level. The general level of is Samsara level, Heavenly Tao level, Heavenly God level, Monarch level. This applies to the flame level, and can also be applied to the level of weapons, which is basically unified. Whether it is martial arts, flames, or weapons, they all use this as the standard. Heaven level continues to be the reincarnation level, and the artifact level upwards is also the reincarnation level weapon. Yes, there are flames like mine. Ming Yueqing also stretched out his hand, a cyan flame emerged from the palm, floating in the palm, immediately around it started to freeze, and I don't know how many drops in temperature, freezing an area. When the two flames with different attributes touched together, a layer of water mist quickly appeared in the interlayer, and the ground began to explode. This is still the situation of suppression. If it is not suppressed, I am afraid that the surrounding disciples, including Yi Tianyun, will be quickly burned to ashes. Tianjin's cultivation base is not a joke, they can be crushed easily. Netherworld Flame. Reincarnation level high-grade flame, one of the top 10 demon fires, possesses the power of extreme cold, can freeze all objects, or directly freeze into powder. Special effect. Greatly increase the success rate of alchemy. The two demon fires are owned by them, and they are much stronger in rank than the unquenchable fire. The unquenchable fire belongs to the mortal flame, which can only be regarded as a mortal fire type, not at the level of demon fire. But don't worry about it now, you Kanshu www. Uansu. The two of them naturally have a way, so that he can increase the power of the flame, and even replace it with their demon fire. But the difficulty is definitely not small, you have to be careful. Yi Tianyun's eyes lit up, and he was pleasantly surprised. That's okay, I will obey the two masters. The jealousy of others will explode, and Ji Yu Yurong bit her lips, I don't know what to say. She clasped her little hand and stood beside her silently, looking lonely, as if she was left out. It should be said that from the beginning, it has not been followed. By the way, two masters, this is my friend, can you take her along? Yi Tianyun did not forget to pull Ji Yu Yurong at this moment. It's not that he has a good impression of Ji Yu Yurong, but Ji Yu Yanlong and the others do not reject the human race, and even have a good impression of the human race, so he feels that he should take care of it a little. After all, Ji Yu Yanlong is more considerate of him, at least he will not discriminate against him. If I went to Xuanhuan, I guess I would be kicked out without going in. The two of them glanced at their disciple meaningfully, as if they were looking at the disciple's woman. Yu Yanglong smiled and said, yes, the little girl comes with us, can join our core hall, I believe the results are not bad. Many, thank you elder. Ji Yu Yurong's eyes lit up. She didn't refuse so strongly. She came here to enhance her strength or promote her status. If she refuses Yi Tianyun's kindness, she must be a fool. Other people see. After arriving, they were all too envious. Among them, a woman's eyes lit up, with a few rays of light shining in her beautiful eyes. A man might easily be an enemy of Yi Tianyun, but a woman would be unnecessary.